The following program has been rated PG. It may contain scenes unsuitable for children under the age of 10.
Hello, welcome to the Wicked Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. We have a great show lined up for you. But before we even get into it, I'd love to share with you an interesting Corona experience I went through last weekend. So I went into musician Timidat last Saturday. And I think because it's been long since tuonane, I got carried away nikamsalimia na mkono. And immediately I noticed what had happened. I noticed the mistake. So I held my hand behind my back for the 3 minutes that we talked, 3 or so minutes. Of course, observing social distance. Halafu, as soon as we were done talking, Timidat went into his car. He went to his car. Mimi pia nikaenda kwa gari. Kwanza nikaenda haraka, nikachukua mzinga yangu ya sanitizer, but no sooner had I pressed once, nasikia Timidat kwa dirisha, buda, sasa una sanitize chini ya maji. Kwani mimi ndio nakaa nimebeba corona? Maze, I've never felt so guilty for doing the right thing. I've never felt so ashamed for being safe. And I felt so guilty, but at least I had one consolation. This is Timidat. Hata kama ingekuwa time ya corona, bado ningesanitize. But I think he could sanitize on a serious note. I think he could sanitize could be the reason Timidat hajatoa ngoma of late. Nijua kitoa ngoma itakuwa safi. And that way he will not be himself. Now, that encounter made me feel so guilty that I decided to go back to Timidat's car and apologize. Maze nikapata akisanitize. Corona will show us things. And the saddest thing about everything that's going on is that people don't seem to understand the real reason behind the measures being put in place to combat corona. Most Kenyans are only walking around with masks because they are more scared of being arrested than being infected. Watu wanatembea na mask juu ya polisi, sio juu ya corona. Kichana kucha hapa, mbona unatembea bila mask? Afande, mask yangu ndio hii. And it's funny, some police officers don't even seem to understand the concept, which explains this video of a police officer arresting someone for not wearing a mask properly, yet the officer himself was not even wearing a mask in the first place.
Hauna mask na yeye amevaa na mnamshika.
Nimewaambia corona will show us things. Now also, as much as we need to find happiness even in these tough times, masks are not a fashion statement. Juzi hapa nimekutana na mtu amematch mask na bow tie. What message are you sending? You're looking good for corona. Ama you are trying to outsmart corona. I wish ningepiga huyo jamaa picha. Oh, but at least I got a video of my encounter with Timidat.
Jim McFlanagan!
Mr. Holmes, I wanted to thank you. Fired. I beg your pardon? Fired. But I...
Difference ni at least mimi sikuwa nimeweka sanitizer hapo jamaa ameweka. Now jokes aside people, please keep safe and follow all the necessary precautions. We need to be together on the other side. We shall overcome. That said, we are back doing fresh episodes in installments. Lakini as we intend, we actually intend to gravitate towards it. We still have so much stuff that we have not had a chance to show you before. And for example, we had legendary gospel musician Esther Wahome alongside Mankush on the show some time back, and I brought up Pastor Pius Mauro. Ulikuwa kwa video ya Lango used to hiyo kitambo before you launched your career, ama zilikuwa zinaenda up to par. And Pastor Pius amepotea for a while, and you used to be in that church. You still go to...
I was in the video as a backup artist.
Oh, as a backup artist.
Yeah, with other singers. You can see Sarah Kay there.
Okay.
So we were there to help back him up when he decided to sing. Otherwise, we had been singing for many years before him.
Okay. And then the question is, Pastor Pius is among, and I'll say alleged, because we don't know. Since he ran for president, I remember growing, Pastor Pius was the Unaget, Pastor Pius was as in tulishika radio kwetu. Hii shika radio. Tulishika radio. Do you some ndio mponde? Glass maji tuliweka maji kwa glass. But sasa as someone, I believe interaction yako on that level, maybe you guys are friends. When you hear such allegations leveled against them, as a good Christian, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
I think they will always be, because I personally, from a personal level, I respect Bishop Moiro as a man of God. I respect him.
Yes.
And so I've got nothing to say about any negativity. I don't see any negativity around him. I respect him as a man of God. And I think sometimes we look for negative things to push to people, even when there's nothing.
When there's nothing.
Yeah, when there's nothing. So that's all I can say.
That's a very good way to put it. Mankush, when a pastor is your friend na amekuwa accused of such, niaje, ye ni religious gymnast, what comes to your mind first?
What comes to my mind first ni yeye mwenyewe binafsi as a person.
Yes.
Kwa sababu when a soldier is wounded in the battlefield, he does not finish the title soldier.
Yes.
He is only called a wounded soldier.
Yes.
If in my area of jurisdiction,
yes,
a pastor who is my friend falls in that temptation, he is a wounded pastor. The problem is, most of them, when they heal, they don't go back to the
word.
They always look at the
wound.
That's the failure of many people. If you keep on looking at the wood, you will never go forward. Let the wood remain there. Tuko na woods nyingi dadi, ni vile hazijachomoka. Baada nikwambie kitu moja. Kamiti maximum.
Yes.
Wale wameshikwa sio wabaya kuliko sisi. Ni kushikwa wameshikwa.
Now what a bite from Mankush. Kuna watu wako hapa nje na wao ni wabaya kuliko watu wako Kamiti maximum prison, and the difference is wao, sisi watu wenye wako hapa nje hawajashikwa. Now hapo kwa point ya Kamiti, we brought you Kaploti and Rendende who have both served 5 years at the prison. Now listen to what they had to say about what seems to me like a very big loophole in the Kenyan justice system.
Mada ni rahisi kujitoa kuliko robbery. Robbery ni ngumu. Mada bora ina witness. Uwezi kesi na maiti.
That's why nilikuambia watu wa robbery wako considered watu wa robbery were considered kuwa so dangerous than watu wa mada.
Kwa nini? Mbona msee basi kama unataka kuibia msee, mbona usimuibie umwache akiwa safe, wewe enda nayo. Una get? Usimguze, wewe chukua uende nayo. Mbona umham?
So Kenya nafanya mtu na msee na kuibia. Tuseme ni kwa gari nimeingia. Nimwadunga ndani ya gari. Si ndio? Nimetangaza.
Yes.
Nimepata hii ni basi. Huyu ni jamaa najua. Akiniongelesha tu kidogo ama nitaje namuua. Hivyo ndo vile wakili ya mwizi iko. Juu ni witness. Otherwise mimi ndawanyang'anya nyinyi wote, nitashuka. Nikishuka, mmoja mabiria wote watakoma na ujamaa. Alikuongelesha, ulimuita mpaka jina. Wewe unajua mtu ametunyang'anya sisi wote, tutolewe mtu.
So, sasa basi mtu akikujua ni makosa.
High witness. Ni macho na toitoga macho. Unaona kama mada nikikuwa na kuna mtu ame witness, hakuna mali nitapelekwa. Siwezi kesi na maiti vile nimekueleza. Lakini nikikuwa na kuna macho, brother, nitaumia. Because kesi ya mada ni after every 6 months unaitwa once. 6 months once. Kwa mwaka unaweza enda kotini mara 2. Lakini robbery jua na kesi ya kila kitu. Kama ulisema uliniona nimevaa viatu ya black, jeans ya yellow, nimevaa kofia, nimevaa macho ine, nafanana hivi. Naanza kukesia kila kitu mpaka nitoe.
Una kesi ya jeans, umalizana na jeans, unje kwa viatu ya black.
Na mmoja kinibakisha tuseme kama ni kofia. Naenda na mada. Naenda na hiyo robbery, inaninyongesha. Juu ni capital offense.
Kaploti. We opinion yako ni hivyo na wase wana as in hii country wase wanaishi hivyo like mse uto wapi hiyo akili ya for example ni mwizi ana inaitwaje mwizi mono si ndio ameona mse anajua. Hiyo akili ya kesi ya murder, kesi ya robbery, tokea wapi ama ina kama na experience?
So the more anaingia tuseme time ameenda, kuna choices mbili lazima umake kwa life. It's either you join them ama ukae on the other side.
Okay.
So wakati mtu ameenda jela, it's either utatoka ukiwa hardcore ama utoke ukiwa
legeze.
Umenielewa? Vitu ni mbili, choice ni mbili. So the time naingia jela nilikutana na all sorts of crime and watu mpaka ana cases 88 za kurape. Umenielewa? But choice ni yangu. That's my stand. Choice ni yangu. It's either nitaamua kuwa kama ama jamaa ama nibadilike.
Okay.
Umeona?
Yes.
So uamuzi wa ya mtu binafsi. Tutaweza tukakaa hapa watu wote kama watu 100. Lakini mwisho wa siku wakati tunatoka, wewe utaenda kwa seli yako, mimi nitaenda kwa seli yangu, alafu nitakaa nianze kujifikiria mimi mwenyewe.
I found that very shocking. My learned friends, what do you make of this? How true is that? Please share your feedback on #TheWickedEdition as we take a short commercial break. Please, let's keep the conversation going on Facebook, Dr. Kingori, that's Dr. Kingori, at Dr._Kingori on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be right back with Avril, Mr. and Mrs. Boniface Mwangi, Henry Desagu, Kaleche Mumo, and so much more. See you guys in a bit.
Basic protective measures as guided by the World Health Organization. Clean hands frequently with soap and clean water. Cover nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing with a tissue or flexed elbow. Avoid close contact 1 meter or 3 feet with anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms. If you have fever, cough and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early. Avoid raw or uncooked animal products. Help the world put an end to the spread of respiratory diseases by sharing this message with a friend. Message brought to you by Sour Herbal Family Bath Soap.
I tried to, do the gymnastics I was used to as a photographer. I want to climb up somewhere. But when I did that, I came down with part of that wall.
The prevalence of obesity amongst adults is at an all-time high, especially in women.
Whenever you're taking rice, you're taking almost an equivalent of the same teaspoons of sugar.
We try to understand why and how this can be managed.
Big fat farewell. Kwa heri mafuta. Mafuta tuachie gari.
Welcome back to the Wicked Edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. I trust that you will enjoy what we have prepared for you this evening. Talk to me on Twitter and Instagram on @Dr._Kingori, Dr. Kingori on Facebook, that's Dr. Kingori. Use #TheWickedEdition ukiwa pale Twitter ndio niweze kuona feedback yako directly. That said, najua corona imeaffect biashara mob sana, but kuna biashara zilianza kuwa affected hata before corona. Inakuanga kama culture, and do the guys are among such. In fact, on a lighter note, Kanjo amekuanga kama corona kwa watu Nduthi for the longest time. Now we did a show on the plight of Nduthi guys on the show, and we had Mr. and Mrs. Boniface Mwangi alongside Nduthi man Gideon Winner, and here's what you missed.
Kanjo anakimizanga hao watu ni kama wanyama. Unachukuliwa na unapigwa. Bike unachukuliwa na pelekwa pale ni Moroto? St. Peters pale. How much per day?
Ikishikwa hiyo siku imeshikwa not less than 5,000.
Less than 5,000. Na hata ina receipt. It's a kangaroo court. So ile pesa inayokwenda katika Nairobi kwa watu wa bodaboda ni illegal taxation. What is supposed to happen, tu kama huwa bodaboda kwa pale Kencom, the same way taxi Nairobi hizi kuna taxi ranks. The same matatu iko na matatu terminal. Watu wa bodaboda wapatiwe terminal zao. Unajua msana bebea pali fulani na ni mtu fulani. Watu ambao wanafanya kazi ya bodaboda wanajua muzi ni nani,
pickpocketer ni nani, wakora Nairobi hii, lakini hawezi fanya kazi na polisi because wakina polisi pia anatoroka. Polisi anawinda yule ambaye anajitafutia riziki kwa njia nzuri. So the government should actually ensure that these guys can actually work without harassment. Waambie mko na stage place fulani, and then mbebee hapo, mwende Kencom, kuna one parking ya nini ya gari izabeba watu 7 wa bodaboda, na watu 7 kilipa 200 wanalipa more money than one car. But wataki kufanya hivyo watu wa county government, they don't want to actually legalize this business. They want to actually continue extorting the money because that money is unaccounted for. Kama kuna bodaboda riders wangapi Nairobi, let's say 10,000, wakitoa 1,000 kwa day, that's $1 million shillings. Hiyo ndio inaenda ngapi? City Hall. So extortion ya bodaboda, kusumbuliwa kwa bodaboda, kupigwa kwa bodaboda, my Sonko knows and my member of parliament Jagwa knows, lakini sijui ako wapi.
Napenda vile umemuita my member of parliament.
Actually used to say that ukinunua motorbike ifai kuzwa bila insurance, na mwenye ananunua lazima kuna driving license, lakini juu kuna members of parliament wako na bodaboda mingi wakapigana na hiyo sheria. But that was supposed to be the law that when you're going to buy a motorbike, the ule mwenye nakuzia mwenye anauza motorbike akikuzia motorbike, make sure mwenye ananunua hiyo motorbike ako na insurance na driving license. So ukipatikana na motorbike na una license na una insurance, unaenda ndani.
That's solid. Amnanga insurance, amnanga driving license, na in fact nakwambia hivyo juu najua labda uko nazo, but wasiwanduthi wengi wanachukuliwa hivyo na mfuatangi. Wasiwanduthi hata wanakuanga na barabara kweli.
Hao waendesha motorbike ni kama wanatembea.
Unajua?
Manzi.
Unajua kwanza wacha hivyo wasi wanasemanga tufikiriangi. Unaona?
Ni juu ya helmet,
so,
I think.
Sasa ni ushidoaje kama si atufikiri na unabeba maybe mse yako na suit na tie. Kama mimi sifikiri na yeye anafanya nini?
Okay.
So number 1, mimi kwangu motorbike is everything Mimi ukula, kukunywa, kudress, everything. Nilianza motorbike like 8 years ago.
Yes.
Nikiwa Embu. Nilikuwa naiendesha Embu
Okay.
So nikaenda kwanza si Embu Ishiara huko.
Okay.
So nikatoka hapo nikaenda Embu town. Okay. My dream ilikuwa kuendesha motorbike Nairobi.
Amefika.
Sasa tunaongea na mtu amefika mazee.
The other thing that actually happens,
yes,
watu motorbike wanakuwa exposed to dangers by KEBS and the Kenya government. The Kenya government allows substandard helmet. Si helmet yako nayo sahi, akianguka itamkata. So ina hata visa. So unapata zile helmets imported Kenya zinauzwa Kenya, enda kununua helmet bila kujua. Lakini zile helmet ni mbaya. Ukianguka inakukata, unapata ngombe bodaboda ameanguka na helmet na bado ameumia. Njereke ameanguka na helmet yake, most likely helmet apata scratches, yeye atatoka kichwa kiwa sawa. So unapata shida ni kwamba kwa hizo regulations, by the way, serikali na allow zingine zifanyike. Huyu jamaa ni mbaya mzuri helmet, enda kuangalia kama ni tawa ni taumbila tena nunue. So wana allow zile substandard helmets ziko imported to Kenya. Then wanauziwa.
Unajua pia kuna tena story ya hii helmet unaiona, labda utapata ni bei ya nduthi yenye anaendesha, which would be a challenge kwa mse wa nduthi. I think maybe kwa policy utatuambia how can the government ensure wase wanaweza get helmet na price poa na ni safe for the market standard. You can catch up with the full episode on our YouTube channel, the Wicked Edition. Now, that said, in the interesting times that we exist and the stereotypical society we live in, we invited Radio Queen Kaleche Momo and one of the best YouTubers in Kenya, Henry Desagu, for a conversation on stereotypes.
Sipo I think take kwa relationship, unajua ukistudy mtu sana hiyo, nipo upitie chura kadhaa kabla upate ule mtu.
Sasa mimi naongea kama mtu ako in their 40s. Sasa pali niko
ushaisikia chura zako zote.
Done. I'm not interested. I'll know very fast. You'll talk to me in half an hour. I'll know what I need to know that this is not going to work.
Chura zote za Kaleche mnajijua.
Unafika hivi town nakutana nazo zinapita wewe.
Unapita nikaa hujawahi muona in your life. Unaenda. But in terms of just understanding more about the person, there's things that I have learned later. I remember when my mom used to tell me, there's moment unakumbuka ile swali, wametoka wapi, kwao ni akina nani nini, and you think what question is that? When naulizwa hii swali.
Yes.
Later on as you go on in life, you come to realize the importance of knowing some of these things and understanding if family na kuanga aje, wanna behave aje, how is this person socialized to behave.
But sasa you see the challenge hapo is ukisema uangalie sasa now that what was instilled kwako si ndio you be careful litwaje usijipate hapo technically that means you are advancing that which probably some would argue is not right. Why not the option of exploring ujue kama hiyo kitu uliambiwa ni ukweli ama badala ya cause that would mean you're in a box. Get if you are told that certain people are generally perceived to be this way or that way you stick with that una retreat kwa the safe zone the people who maybe unaambiwa hawa kupoa. Don't you think you in advance your agenda?
Okay, wewe hujanielewa. Wewe ni kama nikiambiwa watu wa western wanakuanga hivi, I have not dated them or I have kept away from them. I will still date them. I will still get to know them. But in getting to know them, me I'm more interested in your family as a you as a person, as a unit. Because that doesn't say anything about the tribe. That doesn't say the fact that juu mmetoka hii area ni wote mko hivyo, because every different home is different, right? Everybody has a different way they've been socialized. So I'm talking about now in the relationship aspect, kujua umse anafanyanga hivi kwa nini Kingori upenda kuongea loudly na ku crack jokes na kudisi watu. Alikuwa anadisiwa sana akiwa mtoi. Is he is there a, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But you'll find that there's something that made you pick up what it is you do today. There's something that informed your decision or that elevated you to where you are. Okay. For me, that exploring is what I like to know. And then by the time you decide, okay, this is a serious person for a serious relationship.
Yes.
Then I have facts that I can work with. Can I live with this? I can't live with
this. I think bado it works too. Kwa ile tunaambiango you are a sum total of the 5 people you hang around with. Kama umelelewa mahali mko tuseme one tribe ama nini, utatend. Juu hizo stories zingine uja experience, lakini watu kama mimi everywhere umegrow inaitwa cosmopolitan.
Yeah, come on.
Tanguisho uanze hiyo ndio kizungu ukweli umechana.
Hiyo vingine hatujui sisi.
Ni dictionary yenu bwana, haina page zote. Yes, so I think sometimes the people, kuna kitu parents wangu waliniambia about certain people, but since nilienda shule yenye tuko cosmopolitan and I'm an average of the 5 people I hang with, walini influence kuona vitu different. So as much as umeambiwa wale watu ta hang with, I think your friends and nini wako na more impact sometimes hata kuliko parents, because unapata kama ulienda boarding school, ukaenda campus, ukaenda nini, parents wako ndio umespend now less time.
Yes.
Na hiyo ikuja hata kwa stereotype ya watu wengine, hata in your normal life watu na hang nao. Tuseme kama mimi mwenyewe tuseme na hang out na mse wa Nduthi, mse wa Mutura, mse wa Kaosh. So unaona mimi ama average yako yote by the way. I'm an average of Mutura guy plus nini divided by unaget, yani hao watu wana influence when una make decisions zako. So stereotypes one way ya kuzifight ama one way ya ku either uzichocha ama uzifight ina depend na watu na hang out nao. Because mtu mwenye amelewa mahali ukilewa Kisumu tu alafu waambie watu wa Mohoko wanakuanga hivi utatend ku believe juu jai hang out nao. Lakini kujiona venye mimi cool guy nini unaona una change now.
Imagine by the true to this beyond hizo zetu za nini, two things maybe tunaweza address before we go. History ya wase wa majuu vile wao to perceive. In fact say as we speak kuna watu wanajua huku watu vaangi nguo. Alafu kuna pia element ya unaona hii kitu the so called hiyo tribal stereotype ya ku cluster wase hivi pande. It's funny that I narrowed down that ukiangalia tuseme kama Central Kenya region utapata ukienda huko ikue that's a segment, an area of its own. Kuna tena saa division ya kuna wase wa Murang'a wao kwa hivi, kuna wase wa Nyeri wao kwa hivi na kuna wase wa Kiambu wao kwa hivi. Unaget, but ikikamsa ni ku enjoy wase wa ile side nyingine so wana unite. So wote wako basi sasa sisi ni squad moja
against this year's squad.
Exactly. Do you think that ever changes ama binadamu wali create hivyo divisions na kuangalia the wrongs zenye ziko na wase wengine?
I think sometimes the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Wakati hata tukiatomia hapa na Kingori tutatafuta two difference. Unaget? So unaona unapatanga ukiacha tu Kenya watu wa Central peke yake hata wenyewe watakuwa na stereotype against one another.
Now the points being raised by Kaleche Mumo and Henry Desagu are a reflection of our society. Shida na kuangani wakati stereotypes na graduate to tribalism, which is a problem that has plagued this country since independence. Now, one of the best points or messages to address this is what Avril said about it on her second appearance on the Wicked Edition.
We are so close to actually, be victims of something that is warranted to us through leadership, through talking. We have very irresponsible speeches nowadays in Kenya. Social media. So bonga ni kama, it annoys me so much, because if you go through the story of Rwanda, what happened in Rwanda when people started killing each other, and there's actually even a monument, you can get that monument, you just feel the spirits of all these people, is because of that recklessness that we have in our speech. Instead of us uniting as one and feeling that gap of having so many tribes in Kenya, and celebrating our uniqueness and having so many tribes in Kenya and actually embracing each one of them specifically and being one, we tend to have a lot of people who are very reckless in their speech. So for me, it comes from that. It comes from, I don't want my country, I don't want to leave my home. I honestly don't. And I really hope that young people can be at the forefront to fight for this, yeah? We have refugees living here. Listen to their stories. Listen to them telling us, yo, by the way, you guys don't know how you have it. You don't know the peace that you enjoy. You really need to celebrate it.
Maze, I hope that sinks in deep. That's it for the Weekend Edition for tonight. Remember, we are returning with fresh episodes in installments. See you next week, same time, same place, only on NTV. But also remember, I'm on the Nation FM Breakfast Show, 96.3, alongside the very able Kate Reader, showing it with the morning fix, na hashtag ni Kate and Kingori. Make sure you tune in every morning from 7 to 11 a.m. during these COVID times. Otherwise, Weekend Edition, bado tuko on, same time, same place. Breakfast Show ni 7 to 11 a.m. only for this during this COVID times. Kawaida inakuanga 6 to 10 a.m. but sasa tunajua watu wanaamka by saa moja. So catch up with us on 96.3 Nation FM and different parts of the country. We are broadcasting in almost every corner of the country. For the Weekend Edition, kwanza tuko na mambo poa sana. Watu wa Mjei, by the way, watu wa Mjengo, they are among the people who have been affected na hii mambo ya corona, but wao wanang'ang'ana na job. I have something special for you. Stay tuned. That's it. See you next week. Ndio hiyo.
help women find independence by training them in fish farming. It's tough on my back, joints, and can cause headaches. Panadol Extra relieves multiple types of pain. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Struggling with how to help your child with their math problems at home? Introducing the Mwalimu Plus e-tutor with personalized learning support for your child. The app is free for class 4 and 6, and class 3, 5, 7 and 8 pay 50% or pay just 5 bob a day. Plus an online tutor to review and assign your child work. Download the Mwalimu Plus app on Google Play, register and watch your child's performance improve.
Good morning, Janet.
Wow! And you are?
I'm Casey. Now help you with anything to do with your KCB bank account. Pay bills, transfers, statements.
You're hired.
I'm the Internet Banking Security Ninja. I'm your 24/7 personal assistant.
Super.
So, we can always talk about your account, online, whenever you like. Need a ride?
Let's go.
Alrighty. With you anywhere, anytime.
Register at your nearest branch for KCB Internet Banking today.
You spoke, we listened, and now every weekday at 6:30 a.m. you can join Evelyn and Peter to get your daily fitness fix. Somebody exercises and some dancing, while at each you could even lose some weight. Get moving, we guarantee you will love it.
Entertain your callers with your favorite tune when they call you. To get there, by Josh Extra, dial star 811 star 930 hash. To get Nakupanda by Mwenye Haki, dial star 811 star 937 hash. To get Bao by Kasim Ganga, dial star 811 star 926 hash. Skiza na Nation.
NTV, turning on your world.
The Trend, in association with Oppo Reno 3.
Good evening and welcome to it. This is TTTT. The hashtag is still TTTT. So creative, by the way. And look at that. How incredible is that? So that's live pictures of the Nation Center, which looks so good. It looks so good. I feel like I should take credit for this full idea. I just want to own it. Look at that. The trend. Everybody. Well, for the nobody who's outside right now to see it, but it looks so good. And of course, this is just to celebrate and just honor the frontliners. These are the health professionals who are putting their lives in danger so that they can help us fight this pandemic. So shout out to everybody involved. It looks so nice. I really like it. It's really, really nice, isn't it? All right, so now I'm talking about the stories that trended this week. A woman, let's just get started by taking a look at the stories that trended this past week.
Here we found the 6-year-old mother of 8 in her 2-bedroom house with no water nor electricity. She says for the last 1 month...
And that's what I was trying to say. A woman from Kisauni cooks stones for her kids. These are very tough times.
Make her children think that she was prepared.
Patients quarantined at KU wanted Kurukangori literally after being detained over payment, so stick around for more of that. Police officers get a taste of their own medicine. Wananchi wanasema hatukutambui kama hauna mask.
They are supposed to follow the right procedures when arresting artists. Unajua? Like uambia artist umefanya nini? Ukiniambia defamation of character, hakuna defamation of character kwa song yangu.
Kisii-based artist arrested by DCI for criticizing Governor Ongwae. Was it necessary?
Mini expression yangu, this is the way I feel.
So it's a new month and it doesn't really feel like a joyous time, but with this situation, manzani kazi imekuwa ni mbaya ni aje. Should we even talk about it? Should we? Cindy, tell me, this is how labor feels, the pressure. This week feels like a roller coaster. Kuna watu walikunywa chai ya 4 million, sijui what. But just always say you're the one who's broke. Usiseme watu Nairobi wana pesa, sema mimi sina pesa. So don't overreact. Let's just understand them. Maybe walikuwa na huko Zimbabwe because that's the price of like kiume moja ya chai na mandazi. And then there was also the story of the court that ordered a woman to return a bride price of 150k at a time like this, which hiyo pesa guy jamani. Yani lita 150 za sanitizer, mask 1000 juu ya kuachana. Breakups are becoming expensive. They really are. Then Sonko amesema hakuna mahali Nairobi inaenda. Guys, settle down. He said he signed the documents before reading them. Our governor, hakupewa time, they just rushed you through. It's like that feeling of installing an app, then you accept the terms, conditions, you continue, I agree, yes, and then like you uninstall it in a week or two. Oh, then there's also the story of restaurants reopening under strict rules, very strict. Like you can now order alcohol while you wait for your food. You have to. So tutaona watu wakioda mzinga mbili na samosa moja. And then the guy who never misses our headlines, Pastor Nganga, has banished a church member. Commander amesema no stupid prayer requests. You only sent serious ones about like your hairline, about like money, about like sponios. I don't know. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So introducing my panelists tonight, we've got the zaddy of all zaddies here to represent the zaddies. Daddy Mato. I meant like like it's that's what I meant. Like
Mato, daddy of all daddies. Hey Mato, what sifas are these you're being given?
Stop, that's not evidence that your father of fathers.
Kuna vitu mnajua ambao mimi sijui.
First of all, saying Cindy, I wanted to be like mothers of all mothers. It just sounds really not
even more.
It sounds like a Catholic school. Mother of all mothers primary,
It does. All right, so now listen, the state of curfew and stay at home has brought the economy to a standstill. We know this, right? Almost to a halt. Now, this, of course, has led to so many people just, being frustrated. We see so many companies opting to help out. But I think this story is one that has really just broken my heart. This week, there was a story that was done by our very own, from right here, Nation NTV, Kevin Mutai in Mombasa, of a mother who would boil stones because, the kids were crying for food. So she would just boil the stones so that they would be distracted, hoping that food is on the way. Take a look at this.
Here we found that 6-year-old mother of 8 in her 2-bedroom house with no water nor electricity. She says for the last 1 month life has been unbearable and that she, believe it or not, cooked stones to make her children think that she was preparing dinner in hopes that they would fall asleep, which they did, perhaps out of sheer exhaustion.
Nilipofika usiku nasema ngojeni nampikia. Lakini nikisema ngoja nichemshe haya mawe kidogo kama watalala walale angalau mimi nami nipate kupumzika kidogo. Ile wanaendelea kunihangaisha kulia, yule mdogo anasema nataka kula mama na sina kwa nyumba chakula.
One of the neighbors was alerted by her children who were crying for food only to find a pot with stones boiling.
Nikaona watoto wako chini lakini hawana furaha.
Oh, that is such a sad story. Yet we're taking flowers to England. Cindy, thoughts?
Aki, Amina, you've just gotten my point out of my mouth. I was like, there are people starving, but you want to salute the UK workers. But that aside, this story really broke my heart. Because right now, as we speak, my son is crying, but my husband is giving him food. And we have that luxury. But there are some people in this world, in this same boundary that we are in this same tax bracket, in this same voting section, that do not have a simple meal to eat, not even unga to make ugali and eat just dry ugali and have nothing. It broke my heart. And the worst thing is that politicians at this time of COVID, I feel, are not doing anything except politicking for 2022. Nobody is going out and, if they're giving food or sanitizers, it's all about the politics, not really about the relief of the people. This shows the real plight of Kenyans at the moment and how devastating this COVID-19 situation is if we do not curb it.
Yes.
Because if it goes on a wider scale and we have more people who are unemployed and more people who are at home, and as the government is saying that in the president's speech today, he said there is a risk of us losing hundreds and thousands of jobs. If we do not contain this thing and we do not deal with it graft-free, graft-free, not chaizas pesa ngapi, then we are in for a serious shock in terms of the wave of hunger that's going to hit this country.
All right. Mato?
When you began, when you said, is there any reason to celebrate this holiday? In my mind, I was like, actually, there is. It is a happy holiday indeed, especially for you and for me, and for Cindy and for very many other Kenyans out there, that we can actually work from where we are. We can be able to earn and put something on our tables. There are people who can't do that at all right now. And if they do, ile kitu wanapata ni kidogo sana, unashindwa ni mimi ama ni watoto, ni mimi ama ni watoto. Two, something that Cindy mentioned. Right now is when the wheat is being separated from the chaff, where we are seeing leadership and we are seeing politics. We've had politicians in Kenya for the longest time, but very few leaders. One leader I can mention probably is the person who has been giving food, sanitizers and masks without branding himself as the person who has done that. Because si muhimu kile watu watakuona ukifanya, is the fact that unawafanyia na hivyo. Tenda wema, nenda zako.
Nenda zako. And you know it's your job, by the way.
It is your job.
It's their job. And
it's your job.
It's not money that comes from their personal checking account. It comes from the exchequer. It comes from, by the way, and I hope you've all paid your tax returns, so you know how really Kenyan you are. It's coming from the amount of money that you will feel from your P9 form or from your businesses that's going into their pockets. So it's got absolutely nothing to do with them flossing and acting like they're saving this nation. By the way, we are the ones who are saving this nation. But I'm glad I had reports that, you know, people have reached out and the video has been given some sort of support. So at least, you know, but there are so many other widows and so many other families who are like that. That's the sad situation.
Yeah, actually, not only her, but they, you know, they assisted a number of other families, you know, within the village, which was really, really nice. So, and it, you know, the neighbor is the one who brought this story to light. So imagine if she didn't share, you know, because of being embarrassed, or maybe you just don't want people to know what's happening with you. Yeah.
Hapo kwa embarrassment. A lot of people are suffering in silence because you don't know what to. Because, well, personally, there are people who send me DMs, random people, just asking for help. And okay, this is somebody I do not know, they do not know me. They're asking for help from me, a stranger. Ameruka watu wangapi anajua, either because hataki wamuone hivo, you know, because it's very painful. It's something very painful to go through. I'm helping those that I can, but first, me, hey, ni Mungu tu atusaidie sisi wote.
Ni ngumu sana. All right, so now I've always doubted wahenga and those two things, but now I think I'm slowly getting to understand them, because I got to understand why they say nyani haoni kundule. So now this came after a video of two policemen were recorded arresting a man for not wearing a mask while they were not wearing a mask. Just watch this.
Una mask, wapi yako?
I mean, it's like the irony of it all. What do you mean you're arresting me for not wearing this mask and you're not wearing a mask? You have to practice it first. I mean, I think this is very easy, self-explanatory. How can you step up to me and tell what?
Let me tell you, it's not even about the irony. It is about Jaluo Oksechi. Let me tell you, do not mess with people of Kisumu. Kisumu people will rain down on you with terror. It is the only county, Kisumu and Kajiado, where now the real Maasais come from. It's the only county where I know for a fact a policeman can uncuff an already arrested man. Because Kisumu guys do not play.
Well, they don't seem like they play. They don't seem like they play. But Mato, if this were you, what would you tell the cop? Would you be like, okay, let's go down to the station?
Aje sasa. Lakini unajua pia hapo huyo mtu alibahatika kwa sababu kulikuwa na watu wengi around. Tuseme tu kweli. Amebahatika tu kulikuwa na watu wengi around kusema hata wewe hujavaa mask. But it goes to show that we in Kenya we have problems. That these masks right now, then now not really about wearing them to protect ourselves from COVID-19, but it's wearing to protect ourselves from being harassed by police officers.
Actually, that's true.
Yes.
But I just wear it so that people whose money I have, they just don't see me on the road. So I feel like it's working out great for me. Listen.
There's a story.
Which one? Tell me.
Where a guy was driving. Was driving from somewhere to somewhere. Alafu akasimamishwa. He didn't have his mask on while in the car. Akaulizwa, where is your mask? Na police officer, he wanted to arrest him. Akatoa kwa glove compartment. Akasema, here's the mask. Wewe kwa nini hujavaa mask? Akauliza, but niko peke yangu kwa gari. unafaa kuvaa mask. Kamuliza, ninavaa mask kwa nini? Juu ya kujiprotect for COVID-19. Exactly. Sasa hata wewe officer, wakati uko peke yako, do you wear sexual protection?
And on that note, let us take a break. We're going to be back. We'll tell you all about the Oppo Reno 3. It's an incredible device. The hashtag is TTTT at the Trend Live. We'll read your comments as well when we get back. Okay.
Kira? Where are you?
That's why you need the superior protection of Mortein 360-degree reach. Only this has 11 vents which enable it to reach the farthest corners. Mortein, total indoor protection.
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white clothes, towels, and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
Selena!
Toto, where's mommy?
Today's a toilet day.
What? Oh.
Selena!
Toilet day?
Tomorrow we're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation.
It's a toilet, not a white shirt. Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with bleach and detergent, it still won't be party ready.
Impossible.
Challenge. Harpic 10X. Even if you use bleach and detergent 10 times, they won't give you the same sparkling clean toilet that Harpic 10X will give you.
Wow!
Harpic 10X. Harpic, Kenya's #1 toilet cleaner.
Take the following basic protective measures as guided by the WHO. Clean hands frequently with soap and water. Cover nose and mouth when coughing and sneezing with a tissue or Flex Turbo. Avoid close contact with anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms. Seek medical care if you have fever, cough, and difficulty breathing. And avoid raw and uncooked animal products. Help the world put an end to the spread of respiratory diseases. Message brought to you by Detrex Germ Protection Soap.
We're here in Koragoya at Eunice Chebi's residence.
Lord, I need you. Oh, I need
you know, malaria or other diseases, but this one, MS.
My feet.
As a human, you can ask, where was God when this was happening?
Oh God, how I need.
If Karen will live the way she is forever, it is for His glory. I'll still glorify Him.
My one defense, my righteousness.
You're watching The Trend in association with Oppo Reno 3.
Hi guys and welcome back. We're live on our IG, that is at The Trend Live. I see Kamoko Karabi. Guy, what? That's your name. Umenisikia nikisema awako wamenyambia tuko live, sasa kwani najua, but it's okay. Then there's also Festus who says hello, that outfit is on fire. Thank you so much. There's Irene who's in as well. You people cannot cuss. We're live, okay? Behave. Let's behave. Unakaa poa. Thank you. Nimeshukuru sana. From everyone who's online, my kind greetings to my lovely wife. That's from Model Roy. Hi guys, are you watching it together? Iko rantini na wapelekaje? Nasikia it is a testy time for couples. All right, so now you're watching me rather, or you know, I'm using the Oppo Reno 3, which is a dope camera. A dope phone rather. Mato has it. Cindy has been trying to steal it, but the lockdown is helping. With the curfew, she can't really leave the house, so I'm appreciating that. All right, so now, first of all, it comes in Aurora Blue and Midnight Black. So those are the two options that you could choose from the colors, and you need to get this phone because it comes with the Ultra Night front, all right? And also this effect that I love called the bokeh effect. So they have it in picture and in video on selfie, which is something that has never been done before. Okay, so you need to go and get this phone. So I'm going to place his phone somewhere so that I can continue with the show, if that is okay with you. Make sure that you jump on the hashtag. It is Hey Amina. Actually, for this one, it is TTTT. Okay, there we go. Before I crash things. There we go. Okay, so you guys can still watch us. All right, so as we continue with the show, we are also taking feedback from Twitter. We're going to be reading those ones in the next couple of minutes as we continue with the next story. Now, this week, patients who were locked up at the KU quarantine facility threatened to jump from a 4-story building due to unpaid bills. Should the government waiver these bills or kila mtu tu ajipange? Mato, unajua every time, even when I saw those guys jump over from that KMTC place, I was like, Mato can do, I can see him doing this. I think this
Wow. Thank you. Thank
well,
you.
Welcome. I think
Niliruka story ile ndo yako. Okay. Okay.
Jua para kuruka story.
It's okay. Ni story tu najua kuruka.
But should they waiver this, or I mean
they should.
This is something interesting about, this entire quarantine situation in Kenya. People are having to come from China at own cost. People in quarantine at own cost. If you need to get tested for COVID-19 at own cost. So money that is supposed to be used for PPEs is being used for tea. So the money that was supposed to be used for these other things, what is it being used for?
Yeah, 40 billion to make it.
Kuna wale tuliambiwa at own cost, but then you are forced at a facility where the rates are not quite friendly with you. Sijui wana assume ati kwa sababu ulipanda ndege unaweza afford kukaa kwa hizo quarantine facilities. Hakuna direct correlation. Labda ulitumwa na kampuni alafu ukarudi na hakuna kitu kingine, hawaongezei kitu kingine kutoka hapo hivyo. And then lastly, kuna wale ambao waliambiwa ni 14 days. Alafu neighbor yao akatoroka, akarudi. Then on the 13th day unaambiwa 14 more days.
Why?
So uko hapo 28 days in total. Yeah, there are those whose quarantine was extended because their neighbor ran away and then came back again, or something like that. So kuna vitu zingine tu. They are not trying to make money from this, quite honestly. This is not a business. This is not a business
opportunity
transaction.
True.
Yes, this is not a business opportunity. Let my people go.
Okay. All right.
Yes, Moses, Daddy Mato Moses, father of the nation.
That's where it came from. It makes sense, right? I'm such a deep thinker. Now, but Cindy, like Mato has said, he's absolutely right. Just because ulipande ndege, like what justifies you going to this hotel? Are there other facilities? Is there, like, are you given a list so that you choose the one that, the amenities you prefer, the one that you can afford? You'd want to go to another one. Maybe that's, just basic. Hata hakuna hizo basic, but hata hakuna kitanda kwa hizo zingine, hakuna sijui blanketi. Like we saw a picture of the woman who was with her child. And if I look offset, I'm looking at Cindy and Mato, but yes, with her baby, a 1-month-old baby, and they're just sleeping on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah. Which really broke my heart because my son is 1 month. So I'm just thinking that could have been me in any situation, depending on what side of Uhuru Highway I am in, at what time, and which cop I have met.
True.
Now, I honestly think the government should cover every cost. If we cross the border to Senegal, let's talk about testing kits. In Senegal, to self-test is 100 bob equivalent, $1. Mm-hmm. Here, we have hospitals charging as much as 10,000 Kenya shillings bob. That's someone's rent. 10,000 to test. I think Kenya is the only, we're not the only, we are notorious for profiting from pain. Anything that happens in Kenya, we always look, how am I going to make an end game? Case in point, have you seen just the crazy masks that people are making? Now there's a mask that joins with a hat, that joins with a sweater. It's ridiculous.
I want that one.
Guys are not even thinking about your safety. You're thinking, how can I make a quick $1? Number one. Number two, these testing kits, didn't we get them for free? And I don't know if you've noticed, when you go on Instagram, all of a sudden there are people who are like, I have 3M N95 masks. I am selling minimum purchase. Gee, how many? You're like, how come all of a sudden we got donation from Jack Ma? Then now we have people on social media selling masks that a month ago we could not find.
That is very
and are meant for our healthcare workers.
Cindy,
profiting from pain. Make it free.
Cindy for Women Rep. It's just, she has like, that is very true. We couldn't get them a while back. All of a sudden now Zimeja, everywhere you turn, N95 in your face. You're just like, okay.
Yeah, quarantine free, surely.
Yeah. Now, something else that's also just been taking over social media is cyberbullying. Now, apart from Kigandro police who are involved in recruitment, the other people who have perfected the art of recruiting haters. KOT, what up? Recently, the number of cyberbullies has increased, and it's led to several artists pulling out of social media. The recent one being Nadia Mukami, the singer, says that she is taking a break off of social media because, well, you know, it's too much. And it gets to a point, and you know, I was talking about this last week, where you have to understand that as you're pouring this vitriol, this unnecessary, misdirected hate, as you just deflect your insecurities, there is another human on the other end. So, be a bit polite. Be a bit understanding, just, you know, I mean, you're not trying to kill that. Imagine if it were you. And, you know, like, I see these women who insult women, and they're like, oh, you're so and I'm like, but I look at your picture, I'm like, madam, you are well endowed.
You're funny.
You know, like, you're a mom, you understand, it is difficult to lose weight. You know, people who've lost jobs, why would you make fun of them? You know, it's insane. And people come at you with the most, it's so personal. Like, right now, Diana and Bahati are trending. You can imagine.
Right.
It's just a mess. I don't know if either one of you have ever. I think Cindy, at one point you did experience a bit of cyberbullying. I'm every other Friday actually after TTT, right?
It's always every other Friday, especially when I say something against the government, or I'm very opinionated against a government directive. They hate that I get. And it's never about what I say, but it's not about how I look. Yes, how I look, how I'm dressed. My personal life, how many children I have, and I'm like, what does that have to do with the fact that I have an opinion on how my taxes are going to be used? So yes, I have experienced cyberbullying, probably not to the extent that, you know, I'm reading Nadia is experiencing. Bahati, now that you mentioned, I went on his timeline, I was like, guy, anyway, you need Jesus. It's good that you're a Christian, because I don't understand how you bounce
It's good you guys are tight. Yeah.
But you have to understand, especially in this COVID-19 era, when people are bored, if you give them fodder, then they're going to feed on it. True or not true?
Yeah.
My advice to Nadia would be, if it works for your mental health, you know, you don't owe anybody an explanation. No. Shut down, come back when it is well. You were born pre-social media.
Yeah.
Social media will still be here 10, 15 years from now. You will be well, recover. It is just nonsense. And if you look at it, it's always, have you noticed, Amina, it's always 5-6 guys. It's not many.
No.
It's 5-6 guys talking among each other that sounds like it's a crowd. It's just small-mindedness. So you truly are too takwa sawa.
I think the ones that get me are the ones who in private, or they put all these posters of women supporting other women. We are going to, and I'm like, but you're literally, you just started a thread, just, you know, trying to annihilate someone's reputation. Another female, even Okwara, when she was trending the other day, I was like, what did she do to you? She was talking about a different story. She trended because her husband had children, or lack thereof, or her house, or not her. It just gets really, really ugly. You know what I mean? And it's just a mess. So it's okay. You can keep those tweets coming in. We want Larry back. We can get them. We'll read them at the Trend Live. Listen, the hashtag is TTTT. We're gonna be back. We're used to the hate. It's okay.
Dettol's main objective is to help children protect themselves from diseases. Do you know how we get illnesses like diarrhea, cough, and cold?
No!
They are spread through germs on your hands. Your hands collect germs that causes diseases. You pick up germs from any surface, like when you don't wash your hands after going to the toilet, while playing. And then you can get sick because of germs. That's why you need to fight germs to stay healthy by washing your hands regularly with Dettol soap that gives the best germ protection ever against many illness-causing germs.
Wash, wash, wash your hands. What you have to do is bath, bath, bath yourself. Dettol soap every day. Wash, wash, wash your hands. Birthday party. Birthday party.
Are we not invited? We have gifts. Malaria.
Mommy, pests.
Rat.
Oh, die.
Party.
Compulsion spray. Morphine Doom Power Guard. Kills disease-causing pests instantly. Morphine Doom Power Guard.
Did you know Monimo Plus e-tutor provides your child with personalized learning and is free for class 4 and 6. Class 3, 5, 7 and 8 pay 50% or 5 bob a day. Did you know that the Monimo Plus system guides children while they work on problems? At Monimo Plus, our main focus is on e-learning.
The app is free for class 4 and 6 and class 3, 5, 7 and 8 pay 50% or pay just 5 bob a day. Download the Monimo Plus app on Google Play, register and watch your child's performance improve.
Tumeshikwa na janga, korona adui, lakini wa Kenya sisi mashujaa na tuna uwezo wa kujikinga vilivyo, tutashinda pamoja tukifuata maagizo. Osha mikono, make sure you sanitize. Sikiza serikali, tuachane na maruma. Oh, stay calm and be positive. Sawa sawa, yote sawa sawa, yote ni sawa ukiwa na sawa.
This is NTV.
Tonight, floods of death and destruction. 7 police officers perish in Baringo flash floods.
We've rescued 5 that are in good shape. They are in the hospital. As at now, we are still looking for 3 more bodies.
Tumekuwa tukipeana ya kwamba tutengenezee barabara.
Lake Victoria is drowning livelihoods. In Budalangi, potential disaster is flowing furiously. Plus, countering the coronavirus cash cow claims.
I have never done any business, not only with this ministry, but with any ministry.
Mombasa remains a growing concern and targeted mass testing kicks off in Nairobi. Also tonight, Mayday, Mayday.
We cannot relax in our efforts to conquer this invisible enemy, and we need to put our economy on a strong growth path. If we don't, we could lose upwards of 500,000 jobs over the next 6 months.
Labor Day pains amid job losses, pay cuts and the battle for hope and survival. And breaching the curfew law, the forced quarantine with a baby was as good as detention.
Ndiye niliona mtoto hawezi akalala kwa hizi waya na nikachukua hiyo box nikatandika chini. Hapo ndio penye nililala na mtoto. Na nyanyaso hapa na mbale sana.
Hakuna mambo ya mtoto ile anakuja ya kwamba alikuwa na mtoto. Alikamatwa peke yake.
The risk of illness-causing germs is increasing. It is believed that the coronavirus can remain on surfaces in your home for up to 9 days. Touching infected surfaces is one of the ways in which germs spread. Regularly disinfect your floors, countertops, and kitchen surfaces with bleach, and use an effective toilet cleaner inside and outside your toilet bowl. This message is brought to you by Medifact, Jig and Harpic.
John suffers from indigestion. His twin James suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
When I'm on nights so restless, which makes my days worthless, I need to recharge energy with Always. Don't miss out on a second of sleep. Now with its 60% larger back, unlike other pads, get comfortable protection all night long. Long days, I'm fearless. Here comes the boss lady, multitasking flawless. My kids will get the best. I'm a boss lady. Always starts now with 50 shillings. Stay happy always.
Melissa? Mom, it's Dad's birthday today. I'm giving him a party just like he gives me.
Nothing makes a mother more proud than seeing her child growing up. But I know that as she learns to care for others, she'll face even more germs and the risk of illnesses.
That's why you need strong Dettol protection. Just 1 cup of Dettol protects your home and family from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol protection.
You're watching The Trend in association with Oppo Reno 3.
Tricky Louie, Amina umekula sijakula by the nina njaa bala. Nakwambia saumu ilikuwa kali leo lakini sijapata nafasi ya kukula. There's a koloa isiu ati unapenda nini? Sasa hizo ni gani? Mnarealize mkonea tukonea yote tukonea. We love Amina Noel James, God bless you. Listen, mtu ananiuliza maski yangu iko wapi? Maski iko kwa ndai. Iko siseni kwa studio. Listen, so this is what we want you to do. We want you to get amazing merch from Oppo. It's all about the Oppo Reno 3. Retails at 39,999. Comes in the 2 colors I told you, Aurora Black, Aurora Blue, and Midnight Black. And you can get some merch, some really cool headsets and a backpack. So all you have to do is jump on Twitter right now, at us, that is at The Trend Live. Myself as well, at Amina Abdi Rabah, even though it is suspended for now. And then also, hashtag Oppo Reno 3 for your chance to win. All right, so now Mato, I know you have this phone. Cindy, even you, all of a sudden you have this phone. Wow.
I have this phone.
What do you like about it?
What I love about it.
What do you like?
The color, my son told me it looks like it's about to transform, so he absolutely loves it. He plays with it all the time, front and back. The clarity of the picture is the kind that somebody like me who is into printing and prints a lot of digital pictures, I love that I can actually print a billboard-sized picture from the quality of the camera, front and back, 108 megapixels. It's crazy. It's a beautiful phone, very light for moms like me. When you're shopping and you just need to keep the phone somewhere safe. I absolutely love it.
Wait, what? Wait, what? How is that? First of all, when Oppo were making this phone, they were not imagining.
They did not know it was a design advantage for moms like us. The fact that it is ultra thin, I don't know what that means for you, Amina, but for me as a mom, it means when I am hiding the phone from my kids, I can hide it in so many places.
I feel very, very attacked. Of course, it can be seen on all angles, whichever way I decide. God did not bless us on that, but it's okay. Mato, so...
Yeah.
Anyway,
so this is what is happening. So this is what is happening. I have a guest. Nimepea watu sababu ya kunisaibabuli working from home with my child. Amejileta kwa frame. So one thing about the Oppo Reno 3 is the beautiful screen. The AMOLED screen. For sure, whenever I'm struggling with trying to make my young one keep quiet, ndio huyo anachukua and enjoy his YouTube Kids, of course timed and regulated when we can give him, that to use. But it's a beautiful screen, a fantastic screen. I actually really love it. And it's a phone whose camera, by the way, is the main selling point. But I have a review coming up on Monday. I shall be posting it on YouTube. A proper review of everything. The good things, the not so good things, and the best of things.
Okay.
The best of things.
All right. So first of all, Mato has been teasing this video that he's going to... It's been so long. It's like... Anyway, I want to make a political.
It takes time. A proper review takes time. Unataka kuambia watu ukweli, si ndio?
Kweli kabisa. That is true. So the phone is drop. Make sure that you get it 39999. So you get to win these merch. You get to win this merch. Look at me, I'm like, nimesema na kibonana, labda ninja. All right, so there you go. Look at those headsets. They look so dope. I really want it. So those are the hashtags Oppo Reno 3 and hashtag TTTT. Of course, to join the conversation with Oppo, the hashtag is clear in every shot. But for you to win tonight, it's that hashtag Oppo Reno 3 and hashtag TTTT. I hope that was clear. Now, DCI officials arrested a Kisii-based rapper by the name Smalls Lethal. Now, his song dubbed I'm Offended, expressed his frustrations with Kisii County, and the offense was dubbed criminal defamation on the Kisii governor.
They are supposed to follow the right procedures when arresting artists. Unajua, like uambie artist umefanya nini. Ukiniambia defamation of character, hakuna defamation of character kwa song yangu. Unajua, sijatusi mtu. There is no criminal element in that song. Unajua, so you cannot arrest me. Mini expression, yeah?
First of all, let me just start by saying that Smalls Lethal is a lethal rapper. He is bad with them bars. Like, he is on it. He's been doing this for a very, very long time. And like they always say, artists are a reflection of what's going on. So I guess he wanted to talk about it. And sometimes, when you say a lot of truths, it has to ruffle some feathers. So, Cindy, did you listen to the song?
I did. And I think not only politicians, but people in general get this word defamation very wrong. I can't defame you if what I say is a fact. For example, if I rap and I say, Elamina and her red hat, and then you're like, you've defamed me because red means dangerous, do what? But the truth is, your heart is red. So if I defame you on something that is fact, something that has been proven, something that has been printed and spoken about in other spheres, then it is not defamation. Defamation is when I speak something or libel and it is against your character and you prove that I have defamed you. And so I curtailing an artist's freedom of expression because they have said something that hurts you, says more about you than the artist.
Yeah.
And if anything, it now draws attention to what the artist is saying because now more people are going to wonder, so what is this that the artist was trying to draw attention to and why are you so upset about it?
Exactly.
We saw what happened with King Kaka back in the day. It seems like back in the day. It was actually a couple of months ago when he came out with this song and a certain politician said, defamation, and they went to court. Later on, when they were told by the madam, just linger that story because now you are bringing back a situation that had already been buried. It was buried, it was covered up, or rather, the case was adjourned. So my advice would be, for these artists, I love that they have spoken out, but they should keep on doing what they're doing, speaking out against being bullied, because this is also another type of cyberbullying, when you, release something and it is... Guy nanyongwa, ebu matoa onge kidogo.
Do you have a fever, Cindy? Go on, Mato.
Wacha niseme hivi. Yes, hapo kwa cyberbullying, umeshikanisha na point nilikuwa tutaka kusema. Cyberbullies, kama ni kazi munataka, kama ni watu munataka kuongelea, kama ni kuongea, kama ni mawe munataka kurusha, rushieni politicians, rushieni leaders, rushieni kila siku, every single day, mpaka wasikie, wakwe depressed so much, mpaka watoke parliament.
Okay, well, tutakiwa kuwa depressed, lakini we want the point to be driven home. If you're looking, to direct this energy somewhere, leave Bati na dana watu wabebane wapatiane maziwa. Wewe tafadhali pata gavana wako, senator wako. He is the reason, she is the reason. The woman, she is probably the reason why you don't have that job. If you go and you educate yourself on civic education as well, you get to learn who does what. Then you start knowing ni nani unafaa ukasirikie gari yako ikiharibika kwa barabara kwa sababu ya mapothole. Ni nani unafaa ukasirikie kwa sababu leo hauna chakula kwa meza. Those are, we want to see you getting angry at that. All right, so listen, I didn't ask you this question, so I have to be clear on it. We want you to tell us what your favorite feature is on the Oppo Reno 3 for your chance to win the merch. I am sorry, I hadn't said that, so my bad. Now, a woman has suffered a blow after a Kadi who presided over her marriage ceremony dissolved the same and ordered her to refund her husband, 150,000 bob. That's the bride price. Hey, Hii Nairobi hautakula rahisi. I think that's what they say. Imagine during this time kwanza, now is when you have to pay back this money. And you're just like, my gosh.
Amina, you know me, as much as I sympathize with the lady for having to lose that kind of money, though it's not the lady, it's the parents. Wao ndio walikula hiyo pesa. It's not the lady. As somebody who has paid mahari, and unfortunately, it's not something I'm proud of. Not once, but twice. Na ya kwanza haikurudishwa.
Oh my God, yes! Oh my God, because Mato was engaged before. Ulilipa bride price. Ayo ungerudishiwa bro. Hapo walikucheza hapo walikucheza. Wakawa na watch, please rudishieni Mato.
Baka nashindwa. Huyo jamaa alikuwa wapi wakati mimi nilikuwa nikiumia? Wakati inabidi umetoka kwa nyumba juu sasa wanaume ndio utoka wanaenda ku start over, ikabidi nimeenda kupata ka bed sitter pale Juja, then kidogo nika upgrade to a one bedroom in Donholm.
After kulipa bride price ukawachwa. Guys, I can't. Hey, this life is harsh.
That's all over. It's okay. Now I laugh about it because I'm somewhere better where people are making fun of my house, but I thank God I am where I am right now. Na nikalipa mahari tena, meaning mwanaume ni kujikakamua. I was down and I came up again. And I married again.
I see what you... Oh my God. I really think Mato should be given back the first one though. But anyway, Cindy, how would you feel if this were you? You're being told, first of all, Umeachwa?
What?
Madam?
Me, I'm still shocked about Mato's story. What?
Imagine!
People in this world go through some serious stuff. Mato, you should write a book. Anyway, you married better. That's all I'm going to say. Now, bride price is not purchase price for a woman. It is a token of appreciation. So this thing of returning bride price, I don't understand. It's like, so if the marriage has dissolved and I gave you a child, should I return the child back into my womb? You know, there are some things when it comes to a union, you cannot, as much as you've separated, you cannot, how can I say this? As much as you've separated, you cannot give back. I feel it's very disrespectful to ask for bride price back if you took this woman in good faith. If it didn't work out, then you have to go in good faith. But to say we release you now to rudishe kila kitu tumepata, that means that there was a bit of bad blood. And it also goes against what bride price is. I come from a culture where it is taboo to return bride price. In fact, we don't even talk about. In fact, we don't sell our women. My dad asked, when it was my bride price, he asked for a token of appreciation. He did not give a figure and say, this is the amount of money that...
Oh my God, my dad was like, I want a chopper. What do you mean? My dad was like, Nita retire Leo. Oh my God.
What are you saying?
What? Our bride price sounded like the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Like you would think that it was his company's trading. What? Anyway, it was...
Cindy anasema kitu ukweli kwa sababu that's one of the reasons why I haven't asked or even wanted to get back my mahari. Number one, whoever tuliachana naye, we are cordial. We can sit in a room, we can have conversation, we can laugh, we can work together. That's it.
That can never be me. I am so petty. I would bring it up every time. I'd be like, Sulini wacha.
We don't have as much as we don't have the kind of relationship we had before, we are okay. And then ukweli ni sisi pia tukienda tulisema hatukuji kulipa mahari, hatukuji kununua mtoto na hatu expect kuuziwa. Tumekuja ku appreciate wazazi kwa ile kazi mzuri, alafu it is just to show that mahali mtoto wako anaenda ako tu sawa. They will be taking
na venye Mato anapenda ku show off. Na venye Mato anapenda ku show off. Hey, he must have really shown that she will be taken care of. Alright, so let me just read a few tweets. Patient Zero says, hey Amina, wapi Anita? Anita kwa nyumbani. In fact, she was complaining that she was not live today. So I'm so sure she would love to come next week. You're saying you're live from Kisii. Evanston says, it's really sad to see those poor kids and their mother sleeping hungry and you hear millions for breakfast. It's just unfortunate. Young Manila, Mato naona pia prezo kompe kwa vitenge. Enoch says, the story is really touching. I'm locked in from Segutona Mwahe. Mughal says, ni kama Mato alinunua simu ya 4G. Low connection yake ni yo ya 2G itu disappoint. You people make fun of Mato too much. Camilo says, why ati ame degrade nyumba? Ini SQ gani matoko leo sijui. You're always showing us different corners of your house. Yeah. Camino says, why is Amina dressed like Olena Tyrell from Game of Thrones today? Ooh, I've always really, I mean, I don't like her character, but I love Game of Thrones. Joel says, greetings to you guys. I'm watching from Athi River. TTT, kwani Daddy Mato amepaka Elianto anashine sana. Star HQ says, ni high time politics ziishe and viongozi wafanyie wa Kenya kazi msaada, especially this time for corona, and the tweets just keep on coming. Last one, those police officers wa mask pia walikuwa wanajaribu kutafutia familia yao chakula, watume namba yao ya M-Pesa wa Kenya tucheze kama sisi. Really? I do not know. We're going to be back with more. It's Amina, Cindy, Daddy Mato, and we are done with the show? The show is done, you guys. I thought we're taking a break. Oh no. I can't believe it. Time really flies when you're having a good time. At 10 p.m. I have Dr. Jose Chameleon. I have DJ Neptune from Lagos, Nigeria. I have this new artist called Tome. I also have Elsa Majimbo, who's a really funny online creator. She has Kourtney Kardashian sharing her stuff. She's out here just like, yes. Or followed her or liked her comment, but it doesn't matter. It's all the same thing, okay? It's all the same thing. So thank you so much, guys. Mato, keep making more jokes. Keep making more jokes. And Cindy, Cindy, goodbye. Thank you guys for coming through.
Bye. Keep making more babies. No more babies. Don't tell me to keep making more babies. No.
Catch you at 10 p.m. My name is Amina Abdirabah. Bye-bye.
The Trend, in association with Oppo Reno 3.
The Governor of Kisumu, His Excellency Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o, is pleased to announce to all property owners 100% waiver on all outstanding interest and penalties on land rates valid from 24th April to 31st May 2020 to cushion them from the effect of coronavirus pandemic. Ramadan brings hope. It is a season of holy devotion and spiritual purification. Today, we join the Muslim Ummah in marking the holy month of Ramadan. During this period and always, ensure that all your transactions are free from elements of uncertainty and gambling by only investing your money differently. Bank different with Gulf African Bank. If not now, when? Call us on 0711-075-000 or SMS JOIN to 21981. Remember to adhere to the government's health and safety regulations to combat COVID-19. May God protect us. Ramadan Mubarak.
Tunafanya awareness ya hii ugonjwa imeanza kutukumba huku. At least kila mtu apeana hiyo nafasi ya mita na kila mtu ajue kuosha mikono yake na vile ataishi at least, kwa sababu hii kitu ni ya kupita tukijifungia kwa pamoja. Mtu ajitenge mwenzake, mtu akae vile inasemekana, hii kitu itapita.
Rashes again? Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Kiss Kids, no rashes. Bye bye rashes. Buy diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari. Mount Kenya University takes pride in being an academic giant with some of the best infrastructure, imparting knowledge to the best brains in the country and the region. Our members of faculty are keen to deliver market-driven programs in science and humanities with a keen focus on linkages with relevant organizations. We admit both self-sponsored and government-sponsored students under the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service. Join us today and train with the best to become the best. Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite possibilities.
What do you see on the horizon? They say how you start your decade will determine how the rest of it will be. Imagine a decade full of opportunities, investment being one of them. Do you want a place to feed your mind, body and soul? A place to unwind every day, where you can get your health and fitness goals attained? A secure place for your family? A center for quality academic goals for your kids? Or perhaps a place to connect with your friends? Well, you can get all this and more at Amani Ridge, the place of peace, just 20 kilometers from the CBD. Call us today on 0790 300 300 or visit www.optivan.co.ke.
This is NTV.
It's exactly 50 days since the first case of coronavirus was reported in the country, and tonight we are once again celebrating our brave and resilient frontline soldiers. These healthcare workers, despite the many challenges, are our first line of defense in fighting this global pandemic, and we are celebrating you and thanking you for risking your lives to save the rest of us. Hongera sana. This is just one way of paying our tribute as the Nation Media Group to our soldiers battling this unseen enemy. A reminder to the rest of us, and I know it sounds like a broken record, but stay at home, observe the government's directives, and let's be safe and keep those around us safe. It is well, we shall overcome this. A very good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. We have a lot that we're going to cover in the next 1 hour, but first things first, let's look at today's highlights. Tonight, floods of death and destruction. 7 police officers perish in Baringo flash floods.
We've rescued 5 that are in good shape. They are in the hospital. As at now, we are still looking for 3 more bodies.
Tumekuwa tukipeana kwamba tutengenezee barabara.
Lake Victoria is drowning livelihoods. In Budalangi, potential disaster is flowing furiously. Plus, countering the coronavirus cash cow claims.
I have never done any business, not only with this ministry, but with any ministry.
Mombasa remains a growing concern and targeted mass testing kicks off in Nairobi. Also tonight, Mayday, Mayday.
We could lose upwards of 500,000 jobs over the next 6 months.
Labor Day pains amid job losses, pay cuts and the battle for hope and survival. And breaching the curfew law, the forced quarantine with a baby was as good as detention.
Ngenye niliona mtoto haezi akalala kwa hizi waya na nikachukua hiyo box nikatandika chini. Hapo ndio penye nililala na mtoto. Na nyanyaso hapa na mbale sana.
Hakuna mambo ya mtoto ile inakuja kwamba alikuwa na mtoto, alikamatwa peke yake.
This is Weekend Edition with Dennis Okari.
Plenty to cover within the hour, and we are tracking the coronavirus global impact, and here are the numbers, at least what we've managed to capture within the hour. The world is staring at a rising figure of over 3,363,945 confirmed cases. The number of deaths has also increased to 237,458, but more people are recovering from this virus, and the figures are standing at 1,069,036. And moving away from the global look, and here in the continent, we have 40,679 confirmed cases so far. Unfortunately, 1,663 deaths and 13,463 people have recovered, meaning the numbers are going higher and higher every day. But now here at home, the number of confirmed cases has risen to 411, and we have lost 21 people, unfortunately. And the number of recoveries has also gone up, and we are looking at today's figures standing at 150. Those are the current figures, and they keep rising each minute. And we're going to be looking more of these coronavirus stories within the bulletin, but you can also watch this as we stream live on our digital platforms at NTV Kenya on Twitter, Facebook, and also on YouTube. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atieno. To our top story, 5 bodies of police officers who died in a flash flood in Baringo have been recovered. 5 others were rescued, but the death toll could rise as 2 officers are still missing. A search and rescue mission is, however, on within the hopes of finding them. Mark Masai reports.
A contingent from the anti-stock theft unit was trying to cross River Kagir in Baringo County, heading to their camp in Chemoe on Thursday evening after security briefing. A fatal decision for the 12 officers from Kabarnet as the swollen river carried away 7 of them.
Their vehicle got stuck along this lager, and it took them a long time to try to push it out of the lager. But unfortunately, due to flood water that they didn't anticipate caught them as they were pushing this lorry out of the lager. And they're almost pushing it out, by the way, because I've just seen where the lorry was washed away.
5 were lucky to swim to safety, albeit with injuries. 7 were not. Among them, 5 bodies have been recovered. 2 officers are still missing, and the search is on. Some of the bodies that were recovered were found 7 kilometers downstream and taken to Baringo Referral Hospital, Kabarnet. Baringo County Deputy Governor Jacob Chepkwony says the county and national governments should work on bridging River Kagir, as it is crucial in facilitating the security operations.
Maji kubeba lori yenye iko na mizigo kubwa namna hiyo, kumaanisha hii maji ni mingi sana. We need a bridge. Tumekuwa tukipeana ya kwamba tutengenezee barabara. Hata na sisi area hii sama nyingine ilikuwa wamepeleka hata watu wengine hapa. Kuna hata mwingine alipelekwa hapa mpaka patikana huko chini, na hata chakula. Wakati gari inakwama hapa, mvua inaingia. Inasamba hata chakula inateremka.
The 12 anti-stock theft unit officers who were involved in this incident were on a recce mission as part of an operation targeting cattle rustlers. Mark Masai, NTV.
Still on floodings, thousands of people residing along the lakeshore may be forced to relocate to other places as the heavy rains and backflow in Lake Victoria continue to wreak havoc in the lake region. Already, several families have been displaced as water levels continue to rise. The rising water levels has been also blamed on people who have built in the protective zones of the lake, and now water is reclaiming its place in the environment. NTV's Bernardo Juang has more.
With the evidence, there has been an outpouring from Lake Victoria, not the usual life, giving flow into the social and economic life around Lake Victoria, but a flood of destruction. In the last few months, the water levels have been rising steadily. Homes have been submerged, human and animals displaced, crops destroyed.
The situation is worsening because the water level is rising, and we know for sure that it will continue rising up to somewhere end of June. The low-lying areas, the floods we have here are not flash floods. These floods will be here with us for the next 3 months.
The damage done to the fisheries department is estimated to cost about 300 billion because we have lost 67 boats, totally damaged with all the nets going into the lake, and one boat at 130,000 together with the net at 500,000 multiplied by 67.
Humanitarian and economic crisis looms. The balance between the lake's outflow and the inflow are tipped, largely because of changing climate patterns.
Actually, the boats were docking at, like I can say, from here it's 500 meters, yeah? But now due to the water overlap, you can see boats here. These were places where people were residing, like this was a market. You can imagine, yeah.
Tuanze kuvua hapa zaidi ya miaka 20, tujawahi shuhudia mvua kama hii, tujawahi shuhudia ongezeko ya maji. Hii ndio mara ya kwanza tumekuwa tukiishi na amani. Sasa maneno ya mvua imeharibu kila kitu. Kuna wengine wameshindwa hata mahali ya kuenda na watoto.
It is clearly not the first time that heavy rainfall has been witnessed around here, and Calvin's Ariko, who has been here for over 60 years, will know. But what he says today is unprecedented, he says.
No, it has gone beyond it. To me, I would say the other time went by 63, it had come, but it never reached this size. It was about half a kilometer inside, but now it has again come up to the level that it is even 2 kilometers, which is very unusual to us.
Mother Earth never forgets and unannounced. She has come to reclaim areas encroached on by human activity.
The main one is soil erosion, which has carried all our good pieces of land or of soil to the lake.
Now all this loose soil is carried back into the lake, and when there is a lot of silt in the water bodies, the depth of the water bodies tend to reduce. There is a lot of siltation in the lakes, so when that water comes, there is nowhere it can settle. So it has just to spread out into the neighboring areas.
Environmentalists have been worried that the Lake Victoria water levels will decrease due to human encroachment. However, the reverse is unfolding, with torrential rains increasing the water levels and submerging many settlements and commercial establishments along the shores. Well, as water levels continue to rise here in Lake Victoria, locals residing along the lake shores have been urged to move away from the riparian land, as experts maintain that it has been contributed by deforestation and also soil erosion. Bernard Ojuang, NTV.
From Lake Victoria in Kisumu to Budalangi now, where more than 3,000 residents in that area have been left homeless, while others have had to vacate their homes after their houses flooded. Many are now counting losses and living in fear as the floods continue to wreak havoc in the area. Livestock and property of unknown value have also been swept by the raging waters, and the flows from Lake Victoria being unable to hold more water as it has reached its full capacity, and as a result the inlets have burst their banks. The residents want the county government to speed up the building of dikes, which will help prevent flooding in the area. Now to our coronavirus coverage. I have never done any business with the Ministry of Health or with the government. That is my policy. Words from a seemingly frustrated Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe over claims of gross mismanagement of funds meant for the fight against the coronavirus disease, while blaming politics in the ongoing rift between key agencies under his ministry that are vital in the testing and assessment of the spread of the pandemic in the country. The tough-talking CS now says it's time to crack the whip in order to restore sanity. Seth Olale also updates us on the current status of COVID-19 in the country.
That corruption has a seat at Kenya's resource table, especially in government, is no secret, and that Kenyans have been having dwindling trust in state bodies, especially where funds or assets are concerned, is also an open reality. This is now playing out in the COVID-19 war, with the Ministry of Health being on the receiving end. Allegations of mismanagement of part of the 6 billion shillings allocated to the ministry by the World Bank has angered the man in charge, who Thursday night took to Facebook seeking to absolve himself of any blame, and followed this with a verbal explanation on Friday.
I have never done any business, not only with this ministry, but with any ministry in government. It is my policy.
Questions have been raised on the money allocated for logistics, such as refreshments, communication, and accommodation for health workers.
For the 2 million shillings, 5-point-something million out of that is tax, first and foremost, that's VAT. Then you take the other money, you take 15 COVID-19 ambulances, all right? You take 15 ambulances, you put in those ambulances the health workers who are working in those ambulances. You put the PPEs those people are using in those ambulances. You give them 2 shifts of people because you have got 24 hours. You are in with that ambulance for 24 hours. Okay? There are 15 ambulances. You have got them for 12 weeks. That is 3 months. You know, spread that over 3 months and do the maths.
The CS did not, however, deny the presence of corrupt dealings and has sounded a warning. The long-standing battle between the Kenya Medical Research Institute and the National Influenza Center has also started rearing its head in the coronavirus fight, where the disease is not all that is being fought, but also the control of billions of shillings in the very same war.
Whereas the ministry will not micromanage any institution, we will streamline our institutions so that management issues do not become a challenge in COVID-19 management.
As the CS attempts to solve boardroom matters, the number of people who have tested positive for COVID-19 in the country have risen to 411 after 15 more people were confirmed to have the disease. 6 more people have recovered, raising the national total to 150, as 4 additional people succumbed to the disease, the highest within a single day. So far, over 21,000 tests have been conducted, according to the government. The Ministry of Health is also set to acquire additional funding from donors. This money will be used for the next phase of the extended cluster mass testing, targeting truck drivers, hoteliers, as well as health workers. Seth Olale, NTV, at the Ministry of Health headquarters, Nairobi.
From the headache of numbers at the Ministry of Health to Mombasa County, which is staring at a possible lockdown due to the rising cases of people who have contracted the coronavirus disease. The Ministry of Health confirmed 11 new cases today, raising the county tally to 119 cases, as the leadership in the region proposes placement of drastic measures aimed at flattening the curve. NTV's Coast reporter Kevin Mutai reports.
The rising wave of the coronavirus confirmed patients in Mombasa is worrying.
And out of the 15 that we got today, 11 come from Mombasa. So Mombasa is beginning to be a worrying situation, and further measures, we have to take further measures to contain Mombasa.
Over 15 people have recovered, as health authorities say that 5 people have succumbed to the virus. With a spike in community transmission, now the county leadership is considering stronger measures.
We can even take it further to say watu Old Town wasitoke sasa. If they don't change, we're going to tell them kuanzia sasa msitoke huku kuinteract na watu huku, kwa sababu mimi naelewa kuna ile tabia na mila na desturi. Watu wa Old Town hasa huu mwezi wa Ramadhani pengine wanakula pamoja, wanakula sinia moja, wengine wanasema tukae kama zamani. Haiwezekani.
Mass screening was rolled out on Thursday, with areas of focus being Old Town and the entire Mvita constituency, where most cases have been traced to the herbalist who succumbed to the deadly virus. But only 53 people turned up for the testing, as the majority boycotted the exercise, with reports that there are families concealing information about their loved ones.
Kwa mfano mtu ana wake wawili, watoto 10 na anajua waza na corona, hatosongelea hicho kidubwasha cha kupima corona, hakisongelee kabisa, atakimbia. Ataangalia gharama ya wake wawili, ye mwenyewe watoto 10, watu 13.
So the county is trying to give an incentive to people to respond to the mass testing call.
Serikali ya kaunti ya Mombasa wamekubali kuwalipia wale ambao watakuwa katika quarantine kwa hizo siku 14.
10 out of 29 employees at the Kenya Ports Authority who had tested positive for the epidemic have recovered. Over 60 staff members at the parastatal are still in quarantine as health authorities report that no positive cases have been detected in the last 1 week after conducting over 1,000 tests.
We've reduced our staff to only about 4,000 to 5,000. So the 10,000 contribution which has been donated by the national government will go a long way in reducing the impact of the coronavirus in the port.
Meanwhile, in Kilifi County, all patients have been discharged after testing negative for the virus, not necessarily a reason to rejoice.
We are not out of the woods yet. We don't know exactly what the mass testing will give us, and therefore my appeal to the people of Kilifi is to continue implementing the protocols and the measures that have been communicated.
Even though all COVID-19 patients have been discharged in Kilifi, there may be new cases soon as mass screening for the public is underway at various health facilities. They include Kilifi County Hospital, Malindi Hospital, Mariakani Hospital and Mtopa Health Center, and this will all be for free. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
The Ministry of Health has embarked on a mass testing program in Kawangware and Eastleigh, both hotspots in Nairobi. Kawangware has so far recorded 13 positive cases and Eastleigh recording 11 positive cases. Helen Aura brings us more.
Quite some long curious queues to get a vote of confidence in a clean bill of health, at least as far as the coronavirus is concerned.
Gonjwa imekuja na imeweka watu wasiwasi, imetia watu wasiwasi.
Na sasa kama mtu kama mimi kinishika itakuwa ni shida sana. Naomba serikali ikipata dawa vile nasema ifanye tu shughuli ipate dawa.
Those who came to be tested had their information filled out and samples taken. This involves inserting a 6-inch long swab into the cavity between the nose and the mouth. Not quite as painful as it is uncomfortable. The free testing will continue targeting the areas considered hotspots.
When the first case came into Kawangware, at this point, that was case number 189. From case number 189, the immediate contacts that resulted from case number 189 is what we call case number 243, case number 244, and you can see these ones are together, which means they must have been somewhere together. They were collected together and they were put in isolation, in quarantine together, and then tested.
With that reality, Health CS Mutahi Kagwe is emphasizing the need to follow the regulations to contain the spread of the virus. So far, the government has been able to test between 500 to 1,000 people on a daily basis with the hope of increasing that number to get the real picture across the country. 14 out of 47 counties are currently affected by the coronavirus. Majority of the cases recorded in Nairobi are from the quarantine centers, with a worrying trend in Mombasa showing the increase in numbers from local transmission. Helen Aura, NTV.
Now to a disturbing story. Police officers are on the spot yet again after arresting a woman and her 2-month-old infant and took them to a quarantine center at Kisoko Girls High School where they were expected to stay for the next 14 days. Caroline Akumu, who was arrested on Wednesday evening, was forced to improvise a carton for the baby to evade the wrath of the cold floor.
Caroline Akumu breastfeeds her 2-month-old baby, just glad to be free as tonight they would have been spending their 3rd day in forced quarantine. This is after Caroline was arrested on Wednesday evening by police officers in Mbale, Busia County.
Nilitoka kwa nyumba, nikienda kwa barabara, kuna boda alikuwa ameleta mzigo wangu wa viazi hapo. Nilipofika hapo, kuna mama mmoja na maafisa walikuwa shika watu ambao wametandika kwa barabara.
Together with her 60-day-old son, they were bundled in a vehicle and forcibly quarantined at Kisoko Girls High School. Mother and child were expected to stay at the facility for 14 days before their release upon testing negative of COVID-19. The arrest of the woman sparked outrage after this photo was widely shared showing Caroline with her baby boy forced to use a carton as beddings in the biting cold. One can only imagine the agony of mother and infant.
Kuna kitanda moja yenye ilikuwa tuna box. Hiyo box ndiyo yenye niliona mtoto hawezi akalala kwa hizi waya, na nikachukua hiyo box nikatandika chini. Hapo ndio penye nililala na mtoto.
The two were released on Thursday at around 9 p.m. Not too far from there, Angelina Amoding was treated with the same cruelty. The fact that she's pregnant didn't matter to the police.
Mimi ni mama, niko na mjamzito miezi 4 na niko na pressure, niko na sukari, niko na ugonjwa mingi. Tunanyanyaswa hapa na mbale sana.
Na ni wamama wa shida. Hata mkiwashika mwaweka hapo ni kuwaumiza.
Kosa hili hao wawili walistakiwa naye disobeying government directive on COVID-19. Wakati walikamatwa hakuna chochote, hakuna mambo ya mtoto ile inakuja ya kwamba alikuwa na mtoto, alikamatwa peke yake.
The health ministry had issued an order allowing police to forcibly quarantine anyone found violating curfew rules. Even President Uhuru Kenyatta has backed this directive. Those arrested for breaking curfew rules should not be placed under forced quarantine.
Upon completion of investigations, disciplinary actions will be taken, or where it is deemed necessary based on evidence, criminal prosecution will be undertaken.
Even without the legal aspect, there really should be human and common sense guiding decisions. Much as the regulations are meant to contain the spread of COVID-19, the implementation has actually placed lives in more danger. Rozongoi, NTV.
Well, there's always a humane way of dealing with people, even if they're breaking the rules. It's a sad, sad story there. Now, we're taking a short break, but you need to stay tuned, because what comes up next is a couple of stories about Labor Day. It's 1st of May, and worldwide everybody is celebrating Labor Day, but this year, nothing really to celebrate about. Now, if you have been sacked, or you're about to lose your job, or you've been rendered redundant, or you've had a pay cut, or you're going on an unpaid leave, you need to just stay tuned and listen to some interesting perspectives with our lawyer advocate who's going to be talking to us, Irene Kashindi, right after we come back from this very short break. Stay with us.
The risk of illness causing germs is increasing. It is believed that the coronavirus can remain on surfaces in your home for up to 9 days. Touching infected surfaces is one of the ways in which germs spread. Regularly disinfect your floors, countertops, and kitchen surfaces with bleach, and use an effective toilet cleaner inside and outside your toilet bowl. This message is brought to you by Medifacts, Jig, and Harpic.
Welcome home to Amani Ridge, the place of peace, your own urban sanctuary, a lifestyle waiting for you just 20 kilometers from the CBD. A place to unwind and get your health and fitness goals attained. A secure place for your family. A place for your children to have fun. A place to enjoy a sundowner. Success just doesn't happen. You have to make it happen. Make the impossible possible. Invest in Amani Ridge, the place of peace. Luxury you can afford. Call us today on 0790 300 300 or visit www.optivan.co.ke.
Heaviness and a burning inside, it could be heartburn.
kiungulia na kuvimbiwa? Ino inatibu ndani ya sekunde 6 na inatuliza dalili 6 za kiungulia. Kwa hivyo unaweza kuburudika bila kikomo. Ino tibu haraka kiungulia na tumbo kuvimba.
Nyaji wa Kenya, hii ni public service announcement kuhusu coronavirus.
The Ministry of Health advises all returnees from abroad to self-quarantine for at least 14 days, whether they feel well or unwell.
Wash your hands regularly following the 8 steps of hand washing. Wet hands with warm water. Apply a small amount of soap. Rub palms together. Rub fingers and thumbs and the bits in between. Rub nails on palms. Rub the back of each hand. Rinse with clean running water and dry thoroughly with a clean dry towel.
Furthermore, it is advisable to cover your mouth and nose adequately when sneezing or coughing and immediately dispose of the tissue in a dustbin. Please do not use handkerchiefs if you can avoid it. If disposable tissue is unavailable, cough into your elbow. Try and avoid close contact with anyone showing signs of respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing.
Before you share any coronavirus information on social media, please verify it with Ministry of Health to avoid panic and alarm among your fellow Kenyans.
We're here in Korogoya at Eunice Chubby's residence.
Lord, I need you. Oh, I need.
You know, malaria or other diseases, yes. But this one, MS.
My feet can't stretch.
As a human, you can ask, where was God when this was happening?
Oh God, how I need.
If Karen will live the way she is forever, it is for His glory. I'll still glorify Him.
My one defense, my righteousness.
Well, still celebrating our health workers fighting coronavirus, but on another sad note, Kenya risks losing more than 500,000 jobs in the next 6 months if measures put in place to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 are not upheld. This is according to President Uhuru Kenyatta, who made this pronouncement during the dull and unusual Labor Day celebrations held at State House, Nairobi. The pandemic has dealt a blow to normalcy, and its reality was reiterated at the event. Lillian Kiare with the details of the day that is meant to celebrate the worker but gives a new sense to the phrase labor pains.
Labor Day. No workers to walk in their matching attires, no Kenyan spectators in stadiums to cheer and set the mood. The current dance is that of juggling little resources and huge demands. Dwindling hope abounds for thousands whose livelihoods hangs on a thread. In the last 2 months, thousands of Kenyans have been rendered jobless. Others have had their salaries slashed, while others have been sent on an unpaid leave. It is a tough time in a season of a tough war, and the president says the clock could be ticking towards even tougher times.
We cannot relax in our efforts to conquer this invisible enemy. And we need, as we go forward, to put our economy on a strong growth path. Because if we don't, we could lose upwards of 500,000 jobs over the next 6 months.
Trying to instill inspiration that should be part of the day's package was no easy job. The president left those thirsty for the water of hope with a promise.
Over the coming weeks, I will give some practical directions on post-COVID-19 pandemic social economic recovery strategies.
The government recently introduced a law that offers a raft of measures such as the 100% pay-as-you-earn tax relief for employees earning less than 24,000 shillings per month, while those earning more have been served with a pay tax reduction of 5%. The value-added tax rate was also lowered from 16 to 14%. The Central Organization for Trade Unions wants the state to push its relief package.
Consider extending your offer
to workers for tax exemptions from those who are earning 24,000 shillings up to 100,000 Kenya shillings.
Nimesikia ndugu Atwoli akisema tuongeze hata zaidi. Tutajaribu kulingana na uwezo, lakini pia taifa haiwezi kujengwa bila kodi.
The pounding realities will see Treasury's headache pound even more, as the taxman has already missed revenue targets by 212 billion shillings in the 9 months between July 2019 to March this year. As resources dwindle, many are keen to see if there are any leakages, as the past has taught Kenyans that even resources given in good faith can be squandered. This has seen the questions raised over how the 2.6 billion shillings worth of contributions given to the COVID-19 Emergency Response Fund will be handled and distributed.
Pesa yote ambayo imetumika kupambana na hii jangwa, wakati ukifika, it shall be audited in broad daylight.
The president called upon Kenyans to buy items manufactured locally as a shot in the arm in resuscitating the battered economy. Lillian Kiarie, NTV.
Well, nothing to smile about. One, it's Friday, it's 1st of May, it's Labor Day, Labor Pains. Well, the global workforce is projected to lose, at least half of it is risking to lose their livelihoods. And I'm now joined by Irene Kashindi, who's an advocate. Irene, you've been watching this story, and obviously the three things that people don't want to hear right now: salary cuts, unpaid leave, or you are fired. How are you seeing this panning out? The president says 500,000 jobs in the next few months. We might lose this if we don't contain this virus.
Indeed, Dennis, and thank you for having me. We are indeed going through rough times with the warning given by the president of job losses in the next 6 months if we do not take measures. So indeed, there's talk of unpaid leave, there's talk of redundancies, there's talk of salary cuts, that employers and their employees are really facing tough choices at this point and what to do. But employers are generally being encouraged to consider alternatives to redundancy, and consider redundancy as a last resort, so that there are other alternatives that employers could consider. Agile working processes is what the government has been telling employers to consider. But if that does not work, then employers could consider normal leave. We are talking about annual leave that is paid, but we could also consider, redeploying or retraining staff so that they could be, go to other departments and hopefully maximize and optimize the existing human resource, so that maybe to stimulate cash flow. But I think really the elephant in the room is pay cuts and unpaid leave and redundancy. And if I could talk about pay cuts and paid leave together, because they're somehow related, because they dent and they affect detrimentally the terms and conditions of employees. The employees should really be involved in these processes. They should give their consent, they should be consulted, they should be given enough information so that they can give an informed decision as to whether these measures should affect them, even before an employer considers redundancy. But when it comes to pay cuts and paid leave, it's very important to consider the two key things: consultation together with consent, in view of the provision of Section 10(5) of the Employment Act and the Constitution.
Irene, let me use this example, and I will be personal with this one. Nation Media Group announced this week that because of this situation with coronavirus, we're going to, the company is seeking some alternatives, and that means that deducting salaries and different percentages. So let's say I'm not happy with that, and I want to take Nation Media Group to court.
Yeah.
Can I really do that?
Yeah. Indeed, if there are grounds that exist, you can take your employer to court. And what I've just mentioned right now is, for example, the key reduced minimums we're talking about is consultation, consent. If that is not there, then you can actually take your employer to court, and the court has power to stop any of these processes that are not lawful, that are not in compliance with the law, that are not in compliance with the Employment Act, fairness principles under the Constitution, and even judicial procedures that have already decided such cases, albeit in a different circumstance before.
Well, Irene, the word consultation for many is a very, very general word, because if you find an employer, you're talking about a company whose employee goes to the employees, calls a meeting and says, ladies and gentlemen, this is the situation. We can't pay you your salaries because of this situation. To what extent we're talking about consultation here?
Okay, so consultation here has to be genuine, and what the legal requirement is that consultation is intended to consider whether there are any alternatives. I know you're talking about where you've really reached the point where you're considering to take the redundancy option, but the consultation should be genuine to consider whether there are any alternatives. For example, redeploying to another department. For example, how can the measures be made a little better? Can the pay package be enhanced than what is provided in the law, the minimum requirements that are provided by the law? So it's really to consider, and it's really a fairness process to also psychologically prepare the employees to know that indeed the job losses are here, and what do we know what do we do to make this.
Irene, we've handled stories where you find employees complaining that the employer is taking advantage of this COVID-19 situation and saying backdating salaries, and people have not been paid for 3 months. This was even before the first corona case was announced in the country, and saying there is no money because of corona. Where can employees seek redress? What do they do?
Okay, so indeed, that's a very valid question, because what is happening is that some employers are actually taking advantage of the COVID situation, but the legal position, considering the definition of redundancy under Section 2 of the Employment Act, is that a redundancy should be genuine. So an employer should be able to justify that indeed the COVID situation has affected their business to extent that they have to undertake job cuts. So that in the event that this is doubtful and questionable, then an employee can take recourse in court, can file a suit in court, and there are also other mechanisms of going to the labor officer. But at this point, I think going to court would be much easier, given our courts are now operating virtually, and urgent applications and suits can be filed.
Okay, Irene, my last question here is,
yes,
a contract is a legal document, and a lot of people will say, I cannot afford a lawyer. So if somebody feels they're not happy, if they've not been treated well in this current situation, they feel they can't afford legal fees, where do they go to? Who do they look for?
So the legal, there is a legal recourse of going to the labor officer. The law allows for that, where the labor officer would assist in making sure that employees' interests are also taken care of. But lawyers are also, I think, recognizing this at times that they might also want to consider what legal fees will be charged by these employees that need to go to court. So labor officer and then court are the two options that are available to employees.
Well, many thanks, Irene Kashindi, advocate, talking to us about your alternatives. If you find yourself in a sticky situation and you want to do something about it, there is a legal way that you can go around this and seek redress. And we are going to be handling many of these stories where a lot of people are going to be affected, obviously, as we continue dealing with this COVID-19 situation in the country, and job losses, not just in the country, in the continent, but globally. There are a lot of people are actually standing a risk of losing their jobs. On that note, we'll take a break. I'll be back with more stories. Stay with us.
If we continue to behave normally, this disease will treat us abnormally.
Disinfect and protect your home with Jik. Jik kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs. Disinfect floors, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, and wash white clothes, towels, and dishcloths with Jik bleach. Just Jik it.
Good morning, Janet.
Wow! And you are?
I'm Casey. Now help you with anything to do with your KCB bank account. Pay bills, transfers, statements.
You're hired.
I'm the internet banking security ninja. I'm your 24/7 personal assistant.
Super.
So, we can always talk about your account, online, whenever you like. Need a ride?
Let's go.
Alrighty, with you anywhere, anytime.
Register at your nearest branch for KCB Internet Banking today.
Na nikirudi huko umemaliza. Can you tell Kinyanjui to come to my office? Clean up! Kinyanjui, this is a problem, yeah? Next time, uende ununue selector yako, utengeneze sandwich zako, uachane na sandwich za boss.
Selector. The difference is in the taste. And now, Selector comes with free Zesta jam for a limited period of time.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. And the Ministry of Agriculture has denied claims that chemicals used to spray locusts are also killing birds. This comes as the government continues to fight the growing locust menace that has been ravaging the country since end of December last year.
As the fight to contain the locust invasion in the country continues, there have been reports that birds have become casualties in the fight.
Tulituma watu ground wakaangalie kweli. It was never verified. Unajua katika in science there's something called selective toxicity. That means what kills insects cannot kill a mammal unless you take very abnormal proportions. So the quantities that are used when they spray, you can't even feel it because they are in low, ultra low volume and they are targeted for insects.
Presently, the World Bank and the FAO have joined both the national government and the county government to fight against the locusts.
At the beginning, we hired the planes. Now it's FAO hiring. And to get one of those planes to fly out there is quite a lot of money. And at the peak, we had almost 10 of them. Right now, the number has gone down. So from our side, we have spent about 500 million. But we are still spending because the exercise is not concluded. But we have enough resources from partners. So we have enough resources to sustain this for the next 3 months.
According to the ministry, locust fighting has been termed as an essential service so that the officers involved in the surveillance, locating and spraying the swarms are able to move very early and also late in the evening without the dusk to dawn curfew restrictions. Sourcing for a competent firm that can undertake a socioeconomic survey to establish the magnitude of destruction by the locust is still underway. The government team will remain in the affected areas to monitor progress for the next 3 years after the desert locusts are vanquished. He held that the team is looking forward to eliminating the destructive swarms by the month of June, if only the country does not suffer a fresh invasion. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
If you have been sharing or circulating newspapers in the form of PDFs recently, knowingly or unknowingly, you have committed a crime and there are strong repercussions, as Anita Nkonge explains.
Look familiar? Yes, those are screenshots of daily news publications that have been shared online, especially on WhatsApp groups. All for free, even though they should come at a fee. According to the amended Copyrights Act of 2001, you could be facing up to 10 years in prison for the theft and illicit sale of digital copies of newspapers. Furthermore, if you're afforded such in a WhatsApp group, you too could be in trouble.
Anybody who makes a copy of a copyright work beyond 2 copies commits an offense. Anybody who offers for sale a copyright work that is not coming from the copyright holder commits an offense. Anybody who tries to circumvent technical protection measures that are usually placed on digital platforms to access these works and download commits an offense.
This comes after a spike in the illegal sale and distribution of newspapers on social platforms following the government-imposed restrictions on movements.
It is really very sad this time that, while students are at home, people want to enjoy a good book. There are people who want to benefit from this pandemic by selling people books that are of doubtful value, sharing with them newspapers that are, some of them, to my information, have been manipulated so that you get fake headlines.
The result of such actions is seeing newspapers and publications losing significant income due to the breach.
Kenya Copyright Board has received a complaint from one of the major newspaper publishers. The complaint that we have received has given us certain information that we are using to track about 4 people who are thought to be mainly responsible for this.
Those found guilty of committing the offense could have to pay a fine 5 times the market value of each shared copy of the copyright product, or 1,000 shillings for each infringing copy, whichever is higher. The guilty could also face up to 10 years in prison. If you are found to be a repeat offender, you could face a fine of up to 10 times the market value of the copyright product shared, or 2,000 shillings for each infringing copy, whichever is higher, or even imprisonment for a term not exceeding 20 years, or to both. Be warned. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
There you have it. Police are still looking for 3 men who were reported missing last Friday as they were on their way from Thika to Nairobi. Samuel Mungai, Adnan Mohammed and Michael Njau Nyambura are reported to have gone missing while traveling in a hired vehicle which police found having been abandoned in Githurai 45. Halima Gongo with the details of the ongoing agony of the 3 families.
The search continues, and so does the agony of the families of 3 men who have been missing for a week now. Police say that the trio was not alone.
Hatuwezi kusema kinaga ubaga kuwa kiini ama motive hawa vijana 3 kupotea ni hii ama kile. Bado tunaendelea na uchunguzi. Sababu vile habari iko ni mmoja aliuitisha hao wengine. Huyu bwana mmoja kati ya wale wawili walioshuka Witedi alikuwa anaenda kwake. Hao wakamshukisha na wakaendelea na safari mpaka huko Githurai 45.
One of the missing men, Samuel Mungai's wife, says he left home last Friday at around 10 a.m. But the father of their child did not call her during the day, which is unusual, and when she called him, his phone was off.
The person you have called is not reachable.
Mungai runs a car hire business and is a football coach at a college in Thika Town.
Rafiki moja wake ni aliniambia tulikuwa naye hapa, ikafika saa 7 akaniambia nimeenda lunch alafu niende job Nairobi. Kutoka hapo rafiki yake kaniambia jamuona tena, lakini hakumwambia naenda kazi wapi.
Less than 3 kilometers from their home, Adnan Mohammed's mother, Amina Shaibu, is battling with coming to terms with the mysterious disappearance of her son, who is a disc jockey.
Kuna huzuni mwingi sana. Ajili sasa kama mtu amumpati si lazima muwe na huzuni na hamjui kule yuko.
Tunatafuta vile tunaweza na watusaidie tu katika kutrack hizo simu zao, mtu wa mwisho aliyeongea nao, tuone at least kama watarudi.
And the third missing man is Michael Njau. His wife Anjeri says she last spoke to her husband on Thursday evening last week, and he was to return home on Friday after visiting his friends in Thika. All the three men's mobile phones were switched off on the said Friday at around 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. after many unanswered calls efforts from their family members. The reports were made to various police stations but in vain. The police say their data indicates that the phones were switched off at Ruaraka in Nairobi. The search has included at police stations, mortuaries and quarantine centers, but all to no avail. Halima Gongo, NTV.
Well, there's no giving up. We will continue following that story and try to help the three families. It's 10 minutes to 10. Time for another breather. I'll be back.
Heaviness and a burning inside, it could be heartburn.
Kiungulia na kuvimbiwa, Ino inatibu ndani ya sekunde 6 na inatuliza dalili 6 za kiungulia. Kwa hivyo unaweza kuburudika bila kikomo. Ino, tibu haraka kiungulia na tumbo kuvimba.
Hamujambo wanafunzi wezagu. Lesson yetu ya leo tunaongelea kuhusu COVID-19. Rule number 1, osha mikono na sabuni na maji. Rule number 2, usiguse uso yako. Rule number 3, ukisikia unataka kukohoa, si ho ni Rule number 4, corona haibagui mtu yoyote. Tukomeshe corona.
Have you shared your bongo points with someone who needs them? Remember to help a friend or anyone in need to buy food using your bongo points. Stay at home, but still stay together with your loved ones and friends using bongo points. Share your story or video of how you've helped a fellow Kenyan to our FB page NTV Kenya, Twitter page at NTV Kenya, Instagram at NTV Kenya, SMS 20686 or our WhatsApp number 0745 925 002.
Welcome back. Politics could simply not be resisted during the scaled-down Labor Day event at State House, Nairobi. Court Secretary General Francis Atwoli is once again asking President Uhuru Kenyatta to take action against his deputy William Ruto over alleged corruption. NTV's senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Muriithi brings to us the politics that played out at the May Day podium.
Tuwe wima kwa wimbo wa taifa wa Jamhuri ya Kenya na wimbo wa Jumuiya za Afrika Mashariki.
This year's Labor Day celebration was markedly different in setting, but the politics was the same. Kotu Secretary General took the opportunity to attack the Deputy President who was absent, asking the President to consign him to the periphery.
Your Excellency, don't abandon the handshake agreement you entered into with the leader of the opposition. We are the majority. We are the majority. We are the majority. Chance is on.
Atwoli has linked the DP to interference with management of NSSF and has on numerous occasions called him out. Atwoli is alleging a plot to change the NSSF Act through Parliament in an effort to eject the Federation of Kenyan Employers and Kotu from the board to make it easier for looters to access the 300 billion funds.
Yesterday, Your Excellency, a young man met my personal assistant And he's telling him, we know Mzee, by next year he will be out of the board of NSSF. And we will do a lot of shady business NSSF has learned so long as he's out. Let me promise that young man, even if I left yesterday, I've created a legacy that nobody will interfere. With the support of Your Excellency the President, nobody will interfere with that fund.
He lauded the president on the repossession of the Ruai sewage land that is linked to Ruto, calling on him to do more of the same.
This has sent a very strong message to all those grabbers and those who occupy grabbed land across the country that it is just a matter of time that their ill-gotten parcels of public land will revert back to the rightful owners, who are the Kenyan people.
Nobody can stop reggae.
The Kotu boss, who has been described as one of president's political fixers, is eager to resume the BBI rallies.
Hii pandemic ikwishe, tubadilishe katiba. Na mtu asikuambia Your Excellency, because this is a big house we are creating for everybody. Na wewe pia ukiwa ndani, thank you.
Tusitumie hii vita ya corona kama ni wakati wetu wa kupiga siasa duni.
President Uhuru Kenyatta calling on the political class to come together in an effort to defeat this pandemic, insisting that this is not the time to play any petty politics. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV at State House, Nairobi County.
The Nation Media Group has partnered with the Ministry of Health in coming up with measures to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. The Nation Media Group has pledged to distribute free online copies of its publications to health workers for the next 2 months. The move is set to keep the workers who are on the front line fighting the virus to be abreast of events happening across the country. To date, the Nation Media Group has spent over 100 million shillings in various campaigns, educating and informing Kenyans on steps to take in flattening the curve of the COVID-19 spread.
This is not something that is going to end today. So the support that you have given us, we hope is going to continue ahead. It is not something that it is not a start and stop affair. It's something that is going to be with us for a while.
NMG will be giving free e-paper subscriptions for 60 days to all frontline health workers. That means for the month of May and for the month of June, the frontline health workers will have access to the Nation newspapers online. That is the Daily Nation, the Business Daily, Taifa Leo, and the East African. This will help give them information that is reliable and is credible.
A great partnership that is, and tomorrow they'll be receiving their copies. And in the stories, CS Kagwe takes the battle to Afya House cartels. Has he? Can the health minister tame the crooks and criminals who have called the shots at one of the country's most important ministries for decades? Those are some of the questions in the minds of many as the Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe faces off with a cabal of well-connected and deeply rooted dissidents at Afya House, the ministry's headquarters. When asked today about questionable expenditures in the face of the coronavirus, the minister could as well have said, "Riari, you should really get your affordable copy of the Saturday Nation and follow the investigation that traces the genesis of the face-off between the minister and an unhealthy cartel at Afya House." We take a break and Sean will be here with all the day's sports.
See on the horizon. They say how you start your decade will determine how the rest of it will be. Imagine a decade full of opportunities, investment being one of them. Do you want a place to feed your mind, body and soul? A place to unwind every day, where you can get your health and fitness goals attained? A secure place for your family? A center for quality academic goals for your kids? Or perhaps a place to connect with your friends? Well, you can get all this and more at Amani Ridge, the place of peace, just 20 kilometers from the CBD. Call us today on 0790 300 300 or visit www.optivan.co.ke.
Breastfeeding ruins the shape of your breasts. This myth is false. Feeding your baby at night makes breastfeeding easier. Yes, this is true. Small breasts can't produce enough milk. This myth is false.
Kiss Kids diapers. Kiss Kids. No rashes. Kiss Kids. No rashes. Bye-bye rashes. Buy diapers. Choose Kiss Kids.
We're here in Korogoya at Eunice Chubby's residence.
Lord, I need you. Oh, I need.
You know malaria or other diseases, yes. But this one, MS.
My feet can't stretch.
As a human, you can ask, where was God when this was happening?
Oh God, how I need.
If Karen will live the way she is forever, it is for His glory. I'll still glorify Him.
My one defense, my righteousness.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Sean Carter-Villis with the latest sports news. Now, Kenyan football is still reeling from the effects of the Football Kenya Federation's decision to cancel the 2019-2020 league season. Consequently, Gor Mahia were awarded their fourth Kenyan Premier League title in a row, while Nairobi City Stars were promoted to the top tier. City Stars were previously on top of the National Super League with 43 points after 18 rounds, 7 points ahead of second place Bidco United.
The work that we did before is what has gotten us to the top, and by merit, City Stars deserve to be promoted, although we would not have liked it in this way, but nonetheless we worked hard. Today, if things were normal, we'd be playing Modern Coast today in the fourth last game of the season.
Football Federation had no alternative apart from making a final decision and awarding the winners. We were hoping to achieve that anyway because we had a big lead. And so it's just a shame it's finished this way. We were hoping for a grand finale and have a big celebration.
Now, the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in the country has impacted negatively on many sectors, including those in the sports business. A small-scale sports gear manufacturer in Matunda within Kakamega County is staring at huge losses due to lack of a market for its sports kits, and that's following the closure of schools and banning of all forms of sports activities. Gabriel Kudaka visited his firm and brings you the details.
At Ladena Sports Farm in Matunda, workers skillfully go through the process of making balls. They have been doing this for the last 15 years now, but the future is not certain owing to the outbreak of COVID-19.
Wateja wetu kwa wingi ni tunategemea sana shule, tunategemea pia serikali, tunategemea watu binafsi na pia timu za kimichezo. And with the economic hit taking toll on the farm, the company has been forced to scale down its operations. Kabla ya janga hili, production yetu ilikuwa kubwa na pia supply ilikuwa kubwa sana. Lakini sasa baada ya hili janga, in fact, wacha tuseme ya kwamba ime narrow down to zero.
The farm's CEO says the government's directive for schools to remain closed for another month dealt them a big blow.
Wanapoongeza muda wa nene hii wa kutofungua shule, inamaanisha kwamba tunaenda kuumia kwa kipindi kirefu sana.
Now this factory has now been forced to venture into mask making due to lack of market for their main products as a result of the outbreak of coronavirus. Although the farm, like many others, reduced the number of employees from 23 to just 5, the company still has to meet some operational costs.
Kuna hizo gharama, unapata ya kwamba kama saa hizi stimu bado tunalipa ni ile tu.
The farm has now embarked on selling some of its products to individual families who want to keep their children occupied while still at home.
Wazazi mmoja tu ndio ambao wanaokuja kuichukulia watoto wao, na hiyo inatusaidia kuweza maintain kampuni iendelee kuwepo tu kwa katika kipindi hiki.
Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
In England, Manchester City striker Sergio Aguero has termed the prospect of returning to action amid the corona pandemic as, quote, scary, unquote. Speaking to an Argentine TV station, the Argentina international said that he's been on lockdown in the house with his partner. The Premier League is hoping to resume the season on the 8th of June, which would require players to be back in full training by the 18th of May. All games are expected to be held behind closed doors, and the league is considering making some available on free-to-air TV. Now, Friday's video conference to discuss the season's future included senior medical directors of the FA and Premier League. It's reported that one of the options on the table is to test players for coronavirus twice a week and screen for symptoms daily. On four wheels, the Hungarian Grand Prix organizers have said that the race will have to be held without spectators this year as a result of the corona crisis. The country's government announced on Thursday a ban on all gatherings of more than 500 people until the 15th of August. Organizers said they had pursued all possible ways to stage the event with fans, but this was no longer possible. The race was originally scheduled for the 2nd of August, but the F1 calendar has been almost completely ripped up and published dates effectively irrelevant as the sports bosses seek to reshape the season and fit in enough races for a legitimate championship. That's the latest sports news. Back to you, Dennis.
Well, thank you very much, Sean Cadavillas. That's where we wrap it all up. Just be safe at home and wherever you'll be tomorrow, and just make sure you observe the government's directive on this COVID-19 disease. My name is Dennis Sokari, your sign language interpreter. Tonight has been Flora. Atieno, enjoy the rest of your viewing. Have a good night.
الله أكبر الله